this week. I was a little worried that we were recording on Wednesday instead of Thursday, because Thursday is the 4th of July, that there wouldn't be enough news. You know, sometimes like all the coolest stuff happens like on the same day that we get ready to record. It seems like the video game industry just can't help but wait until the end of the week to just do all the stupid shit or all the crazy shit or all the good shit, just the shit. And now that this video has been demonetized by YouTube for cursing in the first 60 seconds, welcome everybody to the motherfucking Rage Select Podcast. Coming to you from July the 3rd. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
John, you got big 4th of July plans?
I plan to clean out a room.
Oh, in the spirit of our founding fathers, you're cleaning up America one bedroom at a time.
Yeah. I was thinking about like watching like American Ninja
Team
1
America
and 2, and then also like because I got it for my birthday, No Retreat, No Surrender, because there's the whole America versus Russia thing at the end.
Right on.
Where Jean-Claude Van Damme is a villainous Russian.
You can watch G.I. Joe, the movie, you know? Celebrate America's independence from Cobra Law all those years ago. You know, be glad you weren't turned into a giant man-sized snake that was a man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and that opening intro is one of the best.
It's the most American thing of all time.
Yeah,
it's I mean, like, I don't care if you don't like G.I. Joe. Go find just the first 5 minutes of G.I. Joe the movie. It has nothing to do with the movie. Like, it doesn't really have anything to do with the plot of the movie.
No, it has. Yeah, no, it's
just like the most America thing that's ever America in America.
Yeah, it also tells you everything you need to know about G.I. Joe if you've never watched the series.
Yeah.
Which it's weird that you would go watch an animated version of that movie, which, mind you, that movie never actually went to theaters like it was supposed to.
Really?
No, it went directly to video because of Transformers.
Oh, right. Because it was also violent, right? Like, Duke gets stabbed with a snake. Spoiler alert.
Duke gets stabbed with a snake, and then you hear from an off-screen character go, "Oh no, he's fallen into a coma." And then at the end of the movie, spoilers, you get a call for it's like, "Hey, it's Doc on the radio. I got an update. Duke's gonna be okay."
Yep.
Because originally he was supposed to die.
Yep.
And it's
then too many children were weeping their brains out when Optimus Prime turned ashen gray.
What's funny about that is G.I. Joe planned to do that first with the Duke dying and everything, but Transformers got fast track to be animated and released in theaters first, and they went, "Hey, they're killing off Duke. Why don't we do the same thing with Optimus Prime and make it this big emotional thing?"
Okay.
And then did the Transformers movie,
right?
And then
scarred the children.
Hasbro and nixed that idea, but we've already animated like the entire movie. They're like, "No, fucking change it. Figure out a way to change it."
Yep. No traumatizing children.
Also, direct to video.
Yeah, well, let us know down in the comments what your favorite what you're doing on the 4th of July. I read an article that was one of these things that's like, oh, chefs tell us what foods you should never grill, and one of them was hamburgers, and it was like, at first I kind of gave Twitter the middle finger, and then I read the article and I was like, you guys make an all right point. Basically, all that it is that when you cook a hamburger on a grill, all the fat in the burger drips out down into the coals.
Yeah.
And so if you cook it in like a cast iron skillet, then all the fat stays right there and you just cook your burger in fat. So you get the big fatty fat burger, which, I don't know. Still, you can grill it. You can grill a burger.
Yeah.
You can grill a burger.
It's
do whatever you want to.
Do whatever. Yeah.
Don't listen to the internet said 4 years ago that nobody could wear cargo shorts anymore. I said, go fuck yourself.
You're wearing cargo shorts right now.
Hey, man, it took everybody that I know about a decade of shaming me to get me out of my jorts. I'll be damned if I'm giving up the pockets on the sides of my precious cargo shorts.
Okay.
I was actually thinking about buying some new jorts.
You should.
And I can wear those jorts. Well, I mean, who am I trying to impress? It's not like the Queen is coming over to play on Rage Select.
Oh, by the way, I invited...
No! Where are my jorts? I will wear my newfound jorts to go see some brand new movies that we got trailers for.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for one of these movies.
Yeah?
It's not the movie I think that you're excited for, but it's...
Well, it's like there's 3 movies, so it's just like Yeah. Well, first up, we got a trailer for Rian Johnson's Knives Out.
And this is the one I'm the most excited for.
Which stars everyone, apparently.
Everyone important. Don Johnson, Chris Evans, fucking
Jamie Lee Curtis. Daniel Craig
doing a spot-on Southern accent.
Well, did you see that? What was that movie that had Adam Driver and him?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
It was a Steven Soderbergh, like, it was Ocean's 11, but with rednecks.
Oh, I didn't see that, no.
Oh, that movie's great. I don't remember what the hell it was called. Somebody will say it. Somebody is right now there typing it, John. So just go to the comment section and you'll be able to find out. But yeah, this is like a big old whodunit murder mystery.
Yeah.
There was a murder in the house.
I mean, literally the only person missing from this movie was Angela Lansbury, and this would have been like,
Christopher Plummer,
perfect.
Tony Collette.
But as far as like
Shannon?
this cast, it's a banging cast.
Yep.
It's a murder mystery whodunit, which I love.
Sure.
And also Rian Johnson. I loved Brick, and I know it's a different type of mystery. That's more of a detective noir mystery.
Yeah.
And this is more of a whodunit mystery.
Mm-hmm.
But man, did I love Brick, and it makes me also excited for this.
Yeah, no science fiction, no loopers, no Jedis, just hey, what happened? So there was a murder.
Straight up whodunit.
Yep. So yeah,
Also,
it looks good. I mean, I don't know.
Also, I kind of like that Chris Evans is being kind of a funny dick.
Yeah, kind of a jackass.
I kind of miss that version of Chris Evans in movies.
What was the one where he's like the assassins, like not the leftovers, but like the replacement. It's that scene where he's in the building and he's doing finger guns.
Oh yeah. It's based on a comic book.
Yeah. Or like I still thought that his Human Torch was perfect. Like I liked him as the Human Torch. But yeah,
it's gonna bother me now that I can't think of it because it's based on a comic book and it's not
the leftovers, but it's something like that.
The Losers.
The Losers. Okay, there we go.
Sorry, person who already had typed it out and submitted it. It was gonna bother me until I came out with what that was, because originally The Losers I actually used to call the greatest action movie that would never be made. Because I thought it was Hollywood would never adapt it.
Okay,
because it was too over the top and crazy, and then they adapted it. And mind you, it's not as good as the comic. It's still a good movie.
I think it's all right.
It's all right.
Logan Lucky was the name of that movie. I was trying
Logan
to think
Lucky.
of.
Okay,
decided to look that up too. But yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that movie. Though.
Yep.
Knives Out. It's like that trailer hit every button it needed to. Like it was like Rian Johnson, murder mystery, whodunit, and then they showed me the cast, and I'm like, you don't have to show me anything else.
I wonder if the people that are still mad at him for Last Jedi will like boycott this, even though it has nothing to do with Jedis or another franchise, or I don't know. Anyway, a thing I didn't expect to be as excited about was Jumanji: The Next Level. I still haven't seen that last Jumanji.
I still have not seen Welcome to the Jungle. No,
but it looked like it was. Well, I guess I heard through the grapevine that it was like
a lot of fun.
Okay,
yeah, I've heard. I actually heard from a lot of people that it was a lot of fun. It was actually not bad.
But in this one, it's like the kid that was in the last movie. He's like gone back into the Jumanji video game, and then like. So
it's all the kids from the previous movie,
right? But then it's also Danny DeVito and Danny Glover,
yeah.
It's a Danny and Danny thing, and so like in the last movie, one of the big things was that you had The Rock, but it was like some kid.
Well, it was the kid that gets at the beginning who's working on the.
Oh, okay. That gets sucked into The Rock's body, and now it's The Rock doing his best Danny DeVito impression,
yeah.
And Jack Black Kevin Hart is. Danny Glover, and I kind of like the what do you call this? I kind of like the clash of worlds of like old men who don't know what's going on, and then you've got a bunch of other people telling. I mean, it's interesting that it's the same actors, but they're now different characters.
Yeah.
Also, just not to be gross or anything, but Karen Gillan or whatever in a midriff top, like I'm a fan. I'm a fan. In any case, I don't know. Watching this trailer actually makes me want to go back and watch the previous movie.
Oh yeah, no, totally. It does.
Because this seems like it's like a bunch of people just having a lot of fun, like a lot of comedic actors having fun in a movie with a bunch of high production kind of adventure.
I agree.
And last but not least, if you haven't already, if you're not a fan of comedy rock, then maybe you're a fan of action the rock, because you got the final trailer for Hobbs and Shaw, and I still am 100% in. I am 100% there. I'm down. I cannot wait. I may even break my don't go to the movie theater to see movies policy to go to the movie theater to watch this dumb action movie.
Yeah, like I am totally okay with the dumbness of this movie.
I mean,
Idris Elba's motorcycle is kind of fucking rad.
It like drives itself.
It transforms, and
it's kind of like watching Advent Children, like all the stuff that the cars are doing. You know, remember that scene in Advent Children where all the motorcycles are just going in circles?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but the Fast and the Furious. This looks stupid, and I love it. I loved it the first time I saw the trailer for it, and I love it even more now. Idris Elba, The Rock, Jason Statham, and we're just one-liners and action explosions, and I'm 100% there.
Yeah, no, I'm on board
there. And I kind of wish that Dave Bautista would get down off his high horse and come into this franchise too, because I like the guy.
You're already gonna get John Cena.
What? When?
John Cena's in the next Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, nice. See, Paul Walker's like long lost brother.
Oh, I don't know, but I know
Paul Walker.
I know that since The Rock will never be in another Fast and Furious movie outside of these Hobbs and Shaw movies,
right?
Because of his and Vin Diesel's big spat during the middle of the last one,
right?
To the point of that they didn't even do the press tours together.
It's even more ridiculous in real life. It's even more ridiculous in real life than it is in the trailer.
Yeah, so it's just like, they replaced one wrestler with another.
Yep. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I don't know what it is, John. Like, I kind of fell asleep during that last. Not fell asleep, but I just kind of my brain wouldn't pay attention during that last Triple X movie.
What? I fucking love the return of Xander Cage.
I don't know what happened. It was just like I was watching and I was just like, I
love that movie. I love it for all its stupidity and everything.
But this looks gloriously stupid, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. I can't wait. Can't wait at all. I'll tell you what else I can't wait for, John. It's Grand Theft Auto 6. Because we got some incredibly dubious information this week that is almost certainly fake about Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw this.
No, I didn't.
You didn't
What
see
is this?
Okay, so there was a leak. It was on Reddit. There were two different people. This is almost certainly not true. In fact, Jason Schreier was on Twitter. It's funny because I went to go look like, has this been debunked? And it's like, well, yeah, Jason Schreier said it's probably not true. So it's been debunked. And I was like, well, I mean, the main thing is that there's this huge list of bullet points, which you wouldn't normally see in a leak like this. You would see just like Grand Theft Auto 6 is a thing. But let's just go down just in case. Apparently, okay, so let's just go down some of these bullet points. Codename is Project Americas. Basically, here's the rundown. I've already read all this. It's going to be set, or according to this, it's going to be set in the 1970s/1980s.
Okay.
In Vice City.
All right.
And also in South America.
Okay.
It's supposed to have kind of like a Narcos type feel to it.
Okay.
Like the main character basically doing like drug trafficking between Vice City. So that. It's supposed to have one main character who is a guy who is this like drug trafficker, but then also this very secondary lady character that's supposed to be really hugely involved with the story. What was one of the things you're supposed to be able to see? Martin Madrazo, who was like one of the drug kingpins in the Grand Theft Auto. I think it was in like Vice City or something like that. Is supposed to there's like a younger version of him in there. Apparently, you'll see. Like it'll take place over time, so you'll see stuff change from the 70s to the 80s, like the way that the buildings look and the cars look and stuff like that. Apparently, the realism factor will be brought down a little bit from Red Dead Redemption 2, so you won't have as many like kind of bullshit menial tasks to be doing. And there's a bunch of stuff in here. And then it's all supposed to be for the PS5 and Scarlet, like not for the current gen
Well,
systems.
yeah, I figured that.
Well, but see, that doesn't make any sense to me because Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 like before the PS4 and the Xbox One launched.
I feel like it came out so late in the game for those.
Yeah.
That's why they just ported it to Xbox One and PS4.
Sure, but it was still late in the game, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. This could be anything. This could be anything. I mean, this list of things sounds
plausible.
Yeah, somewhat plausible, kind of cool. Like something that I would kind of be interested. I mean, well, actually, let me stop equivocating here. Like, I haven't disliked a Grand Theft Auto game yet.
Yeah.
Right. I even liked Grand Theft Auto 4 and the expansions. I mean, I liked all of them, all the way back to the first one. Like, there hasn't been a Grand Theft Auto game that I haven't been a fan of. Now, whether or not this is real, again, it's impossible to say. Schreier's contention is that you don't normally get like these specific type of details when you get a leak like this. It'll just be, hey, Rockstar is working on Grand Theft Auto 6. It's probably going to be set in Vice City. Like, that's what you would hear. You wouldn't see like a marketing meeting worth of bullet point
and
features.
Also, for all we know, this let's just hypothetically play devil's advocate and say that it is accurate.
Yeah.
And this is all what's being currently planned. Half of that could get scrapped before the game actually comes out.
Very true. Very, very true. There's plenty of stuff that makes it in and doesn't make it. I don't know. Would you see, you didn't really care for 5 though. Would you be
But that was mostly just due to one character.
Due to Trevor. If he had like a less kind of grotesque protagonist.
Yeah.
Or if you would you have continued playing GTA 5 if you had the ability to just skip Trevor's missions and just stick with Michael and
I don't know. Probably.
Other guy. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting, as you say, until we see a single thing, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of get the impression that Rockstar's probably got enough that they've got 2 different teams working on it, but like, they're still churning out Red Dead Online content. They're still churning out Grand Theft Auto 5 content. So, however, 2K loves money. Strauss Zelnick needs to get paid, John. So
no, I wouldn't be surprised if they went, you know what, like if they're far enough for all this to be true.
Yeah.
That if they went, you know what, we're close enough to the next gen, let's just hold it off for the next gen. GTA 5 is still making us tons of money.
Right.
And then when the new consoles come out, then bam, we'll release the next GTA, and then we'll also release the online version of GTA for that game as well.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if this is true, and if it is going to be for the next gen systems and not for current gen systems, that we are going to have to wait at least a year into the next gen systems to see the adoption rate that Rockstar wants for, because the launches that they've had with these previous games have been titanic, like some of the biggest in the entire industry of all time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to hold back, because when you're in still the first year of people making up their minds about what consoles they want, right? Plenty of people are still like, hey, my Xbox One X is working just fine. My PlayStation 4 Pro, I could still totally play games on it. It's fine. The other thing I keep wondering though about is since the Scarlet and the PS5 are definitely just going to be hardware upgrades from the PS4 Xbox One era, I mean, couldn't they just put out like a version that looks shittier on the PS4 Xbox One?
It's possible.
And then it just looks better on the PS5 Scarlet? Yeah. I mean, we already have that, right? We already have games that look worse on the stock PS4, stock Xbox One than they do on the
And I know there's been some word that, I mean, at least as far as the Xbox side, Scarlet, that it'll be able to play Xbox One games.
If they're using PC architecture, I can see no reason why they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
I could see absolutely no reason why they wouldn't be able to. So, yeah, I don't know. We will have to see. We will have to wait until we get some actual information. All right, from there, we're moving into the controversial section, John.
Controversial?
We're moving into the hot takes. We're doing some hot takes.
Oh, hot takes.
Get your hand off the stove. It's hot takes. That's what I say. That's my new catchphrase. Take your hand off the stove. It's time for hot takes. Copyright Jeff from Rage Select.
Put that on a shirt.
Most withering look.
I'm just saying, put it on a shirt, man.
So on the front it says "Take your hand off the stove," and on the back it just says "We got hot takes."
Yeah,
and everybody's like, "What the fuck is that shirt? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." And you're like, "Yeah, $20." Okay.
I bet you will sell a few.
Probably a few. You remember that game Mordhau?
Yes,
Mordhau, which was
Never
kind
played
of the kind of like I forgot.
For Honor.
No, there's all these Mountain Blade and there's the PC games. They announced like a second one of them at the PC gaming show.
Okay.
These big medieval combat scrums where you got a bunch of people. But Mordhau is kind of silly. Like you can hit people with like a flute if you're a bard, or like a frying pan if you're like a peasant or something like that. So last week there was a big old up and down, right? There was an interview between one of the people on the team where they talked about that they want to add in a patch that puts in, makes it so that not every character in the game is a white guy, right? So you can have ladies or people with different skin colors, right? Boom.
Yeah.
Now, in this interview, apparently this feature had been kind of bandied around but hadn't fully been talked about. But in the interview, the guy they were interviewing kind of intimated that in addition to adding that into the game, they would be adding in like a switch so that if you want to play online and have it only be a bunch of white guys, you set the switch to white guys. And if you want to play with a bunch of other people, you switch it to, not all white guys. Hashtag not all white guys. As you could imagine, the existence of such a switch did not make them a lot of friends on the internet.
Yeah.
Because being able to hit a switch in your video game and turn it into all white guys is kind of fucked up. I mean, I don't know. Yes, I do. It is kind of fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. Well, then they had to come out and basically walk that back. And they said, this is an actual feature. This is just something that we had talked about at the office briefly, but it wasn't a thing that we decided to put in the game, and no, we are not putting it in the game. So yeah, that was kind of a tempest in a teacup. I don't know. I guess it kind of brings out if the guys that made the game want to make the game so that it's not just white guys, then that's their prerogative, right? I mean, that's their video game. They get to do what they want to with it.
Yeah.
So that happened, and people felt a lot about it. Another thing that people are feeling an awful lot about is apparently Blizzard has made a bunch of updates to Hearthstone cards.
This I am aware of.
So what are there, 11 cards or so that they changed, and some of them appear to have been made less violent. Some of them
less sexy.
Yes, less sexually explicit. Like the Succubus card has been changed to the Fellstalker card. So instead of a sexy demon lady, there's a big monster on it now. Yeah. There's a few, one of the I'm reading this is a Kotaku article. The Eviscerate card had this kind of dark elf slashing at somebody and had this blood coming out of them, and now there's not a big spray of blood coming out of them. So this happened, and as always, people felt a lot of ways about it, John.
People are screaming censorship.
People are feeling a lot of ways about it. Now, Blizzard has said that when they first made Hearthstone, that they used a bunch of art from an existing World of War or Warcraft card game.
Yeah. There was actually a physical card game.
Yeah. And that as time has gone on, that Hearthstone has developed its own art aesthetic, and that basically what this represents is going back in and changing art from this original card game into
the aesthetic that the game now has.
Right. The other thing, though, that should be mentioned is that, this is one of those times where I get in trouble on the internet and people are going to downvote me, John. Do you need to have all the tits in your card game? This card game is popular with people of all ages and children and stuff like that. Does it have to be blood shooting out of the person on the Eviscerate card?
Yeah, I feel like this is a whole lot of people complaining about nothing.
It's tempest in a teacup. That's my take on it, because it's not like the cards do anything different than they used to.
Yeah, no,
it's not like they nerfed your cards. They just, the Wind Fury Harpy is like, even in this one with the Wind Fury Harpy, I don't know, John, you probably can't see it from over there, is like the older one, she's like turned to the side and so you can see more of her silhouette, and then there's just like she's kind of wearing the same outfit, she's just turned to the front now, instead of really emphasizing like her silhouette. I mean, I don't know, guys. You guys remember Tracer's butt, right? Do you really think that Blizzard's just like handing out the boners? They don't seem to be all about the boners anymore, John. I mean, they don't seem to be in the business of boners, the boner business, especially not with Hearthstone. Like, if you were going to be in the boner business, I mean, aren't there still like succubuses and shit in Diablo? And I mean, like, probably, slinky outfits and stuff like that. I mean, they got swimsuits for the girls in Overwatch, right? Yeah. Like, they're still, I guess they're still partially in the boner business. Yeah. But I don't know.
I mean, they put what's her name, Diva, in a schoolgirl outfit or something like that in one of the most recent updates. I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't really gone back to Overwatch in quite a while. I mean, Widowmaker exists, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is one of those ones where, like, we talked about. I've talked about this before in the terms of like when we're talking about, or when I was talking about Final Fantasy VII, of like, if Final Fantasy VII next week on Tuesday after this podcast is coming out, there's a new Senran Kagura game coming out.
Yeah.
Right? If Senran Kagura changed their game so that everybody was less sexy, I could definitely make an argument about, well, the whole point of Senran Kagura is that the sexiness, right?
Yeah.
That's the point of the game.
It's supposed to be a sexy game.
Yeah, it's like a cheesecake game, right? But is like Hearthstone supposed to be a sexy game?
No, it's a fucking card game.
Okay. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. I don't know. Maybe you make a more nuanced argument than I can, gentle listener. Maybe go into the comments and explain to me why the cards have to be sexy and violent as opposed to just being a card game. I mean, it's also not like they changed every card to just not have any art on it anymore, or like, made them all just number cards. Anyway, continuing down the train of things that people feel strongly about, I think we talked about them last year, but G2A was back in the news this week.
Oh, great.
Yep. For anybody who doesn't know, G2A is like they're like an eBay seller that sells keys to games for cheap. The problem is that they don't do any verification on the people that are selling the keys. So a lot of times what happens is people steal credit card numbers, buy keys, sell them on G2A for a profit, and then they disappear. And then when the
person whose credit card is stolen disputes
it, right? Then
it invalidates the key, and then the person who bought the key from G2A has a key that isn't valid.
Well, or more often than that, the developer just has to give the profits back to, they have to relinquish the money that they were given for the game, right? Yeah. And or deal with like chargeback fees and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
So yeah, G2A, they suck. I mean, there are places that you can buy games on sale that don't suck, but G2A, man, do they ever suck. So last week, Mike Rose was on Twitter, and he tweeted, in the latest episode of Fuck G2A, G2A is taking out sponsored ads on Google, which means that when you search for our games, you get G2A popping up above our own links, and we make zero money on our games if people buy through those ads. And when you try to turn the ads off, apparently the turn off those ads just doesn't work. Like that switch on Google just doesn't do anything. So I don't know who Mike Rose is. I'm sure he's some indie dev, but basically he says, his next tweet, he said, please, if you're going to buy a game from G2A, just pirate it instead. Genuinely. Devs don't see a penny either way, so we'd much rather G2A didn't see any money either. No. And in fact, I read another tweet of somebody where they said that literally all of the hassle of verifying keys and chargebacks and refunds and stuff cost them time and money and effort that they could be using to make more video games instead of dealing with this horse shit. After that, Rami Ismail chimed in and said basically the same thing. If you can't afford our games, we'd much rather have you pirate them than buy them off of G2A. So, this is just a weekly installment of like, hey, fuck those guys and don't buy games from them because they suck. They're the worst. They're the worst and they suck. Fuck G2A. I mean, the developers would rather have you steal their games than buy them from that company. Let's see. What else we got? I forgot everything that I put in here, so I can't tell if we're still in the bad news section. Oh, no. Well, now we're still in the feelings zone.
The hot takes.
The hot takes. To get your hand off the stove. This was very interesting.
Okay.
So this week, I don't know if you know what this is.
I do.
Okay. But this week, okay, let's Shenmue. Let's talk about Shenmue 3.
Shenmue 3, yeah.
Basically, it was crowdfunded.
Kickstarted.
It was supposed to come out on Steam. Now it's an Epic Game Store exclusive for a year.
Yeah.
So people were not happy with that. They were like, we gave you money. You said you were going to give us Steam keys. Now there's not going to be a Steam key. So then, like, at first, what's the name of the EaseNet?
Well, I don't think they ever said Steam. They said just PC digital download.
Okay. Are you sure?
I don't know.
I don't have any idea.
I don't know.
But I mean, it wouldn't be...
But I know at the time there was no Epic Game Store, so it would have been implied to be Steam.
Yeah. At a certain point, they said, oh, well, if you don't like the Epic Game Store, get it for the PlayStation 4 instead, which did not go over very well.
Yeah, I imagine that not going over very well.
They also said, hey, if you really want it on Steam, a year after it comes out, it'll be available on Steam.
Probably also not going to go over well.
That did not go over very well either. So, needless to say, people have been mad, right? And they want their goddamn money back. So, this week, Tim Sweeney came out and said that if you do want a refund for your Kickstarted cash in Shenmue 3, Epic will pay you back. Like, EaseNet isn't going to pay you back, but Epic will shell out the money to give you back your Kickstart money.
Okay.
Out of their pocket.
Good on them.
It's interesting because it should remind everybody just how fucking deep Epic's pockets are, right?
Yeah.
Like that, you got to remember, Fortnite is making, just shitloads of money. It's just shitloads, like so many loads of shit. It's not even funny. So yeah, apparently now you can basically request a refund and Epic will give it back to you. So if you're mad at Epic and you're mad at EaseNet and you don't want to play Shenmue 3 anymore, apparently you get your money back. So that's nice. I wonder if they'll offer... I'm trying to think of anything else. Like there was that, Phoenix Point was crowdfunded. I wonder if they'll...
Phoenix Point?
It's like an XCOM style game that was put on there a while back. I wonder if this will end up being a thing that happens with multiple games.
Don't know.
Because, I mean, at this point, it seems like Epic's got the... It seems like they've just got so much money that they can just fuck around now, right? Like that they're able to just kind of do weird shit like this, like refund some other company's game because people are mad at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of the Epic Game Store, there was also an interview or a Game Lab panel with Paradox Interactive's Frederick Wester, who basically talked about the 70-30 split that everybody but the Epic Game Store has. So that's not just Steam. That's also PlayStation and Xbox. 70% goes to the developer, 30% goes to the platform holder.
Yeah.
And he basically said, I think that the 70-30 revenue split is outrageous. I think the platform holders are taking too much money. Everyone in the press here, just quote me on that. And he basically says that when there used to be fewer games, that platforms were more valuable because they would put your game front and center. But Steam doesn't make a deal to put your game front and center anymore. Like it's all bullshit and algorithms and even on like the PlayStation Store, I don't know. There's a reason I think that people like the devs like the Epic Game Store, in spite of the fact that they obviously get way more money. They get they lose 30% when they sell on any other platform. They get they only lose 12% when they sell on Epic Game Store. So I still maintain that if I just wish that Epic would stop giving people refunds for Shenmue 3 and make like a shopping cart for their store and like a wish list and a forum and just copy Steam. Because if it was just a viable store, I'm all in favor of it.
Yeah.
I'm all in favor of it. I don't know. So, yeah, that's our Epic Games feelings for the week. I don't know if are we still in hot takes? Yes, we're still in the hot take zone.
Nice.
We're still in the hot take zone. So, somebody actually sent in a question about this, which the story, I believe, broke last week, and then there was a comment this week. During E3 at the Treehouse, when they were talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield, they said that not all of the Pokemon are going to be coming forward into Pokemon Sword and Shield. So some people have had like the Pokemon that they transfer from system to system through the cloud, their little Pikachu or whatever. Probably Pikachu will be there. But that not every Pokemon that's been in the previous games is going to be in Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
And people are mad. They have feelings. They have hot takes about this. I don't really play Pokemon, so
I know that you could transfer your Pokemon from a previous game to this game.
Yes. Apparently there's some cloud service that they've been running for quite a while that you can like upload your Pokemon and then download them into another game.
No, I didn't know that.
There's a quote this week where they were talking to Game Freak director Junichi Masuda, where he said, "Just like all of you, we are passionate about Pokemon, and each and every one of them is very important to us. After so many years of developing the Pokemon video games, this was a very difficult decision for me. I'd like to make one thing clear. Even if a certain Pokemon is not available in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, that does not mean it will not appear in future games." So kind of just doubling down and saying there's probably just going to be Pokemon that you like that aren't in this game.
Yeah.
There's going to be
I don't think there's anything at this point, how late in the game it is, I don't think there's anything that can be done to fix that.
They push the game back by a year and add all the Pokemon that people wanted, and I'm sure that all the people that have feelings about it wouldn't at all be mad if the Pokemon game they're looking forward to was pushed back another year. Surely not, John.
I don't know.
That's my sarcasm voice.
I got it.
That's my sarcasm voice. Somebody actually wrote in and asked me about this. I mean, I had to kind of think about it analytically. Like I've never been a fan of a collection game, but generally, as a fan of Rian Johnson, I believe in murdering the past and not having any traditions. So I say take all the Pokemon out and don't bring any of them forward into Sword and Shield, including Pikachu. No Pikachus in this game.
Take.
Yeah, no Bulbasaurs, no Charmanders. Just get them all out of there. We're gonna make a bunch of new Pokemons. They're all gonna be like weird eyeballs, and one's like a toaster.
But you keep the one that dresses up to look like a Pikachu because he wants to be Pikachu, but he's not actually a Pikachu.
Oh yeah, that weirdo. Yeah. I don't even know what that weirdo is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that I've never been part of a. Well, I mean, do you have any strong feelings about that?
I don't.
The thing is that I'm not a Pokemon fan, and I was trying to think about like what games I've played that had a monster collection mechanic, and I don't care. I mean, the only ones I can think of are like Final Fantasy 13. You got 13-2. You collected
Digimon.
Monsters.
Didn't you collect them in Digimon?
Yeah, but I didn't play Digimon either. I mean, the problem that I have is that I can't think of any game that I play that had a collection mechanic. I mean, I don't know. It'd be like, oh, what do you mean I can't bring the bandana from Metal Gear Solid 1 into Metal Gear Solid 2? And it's like, well, I don't know. I feel like that level of continuity, like between games. I mean, I can understand. Like, if you couldn't bring your Shepard's choices into Mass Effect 3, okay, but that's like a box. That's like a bullet point on the box, right? I can't think of a game that I've ever played that has any kind of collection mechanic where I wouldn't just be fine starting over in the next game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. XCOM guys? No, I don't care. I don't care about my veteran XCOM guys.
Well, they all died anyways.
I don't know. I can't think of any game where I care enough about something like that to move forward. So that's my hot take. I get it. I mean, I get why fans wouldn't like that. Yeah. But so we actually got a lot of Nintendo news.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of the end of the feelings report of the hot take zone. Apparently Nintendo is looking to expand their subscription service.
I heard this.
Yes. No real information about what they would like to do, but more than 3 shitty NES games every month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good because that Nintendo Online service, I mean, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have it?
I do.
Do you like it?
I mean, I played a few games on it.
Yeah.
But I've not really
It just it goes back to that thing of Nintendo wanting to sell you like Metroid for the 8th time, or like oh, remember the Legend of Zelda? And I'm just like, yeah, dude, I remember the Legend of Zelda. I've played it on every console you've put out so far.
Yeah. But I mean, at least in this case, I don't have to like pay for it again.
Spend $5 on it.
Yeah, I just have to pay $20 a year.
I mean, I don't know if you were going to make the Nintendo online service attractive, right, to gamers, what would you put on it?
Well, I would actually do more than just NES games.
Right.
Like I think was what everybody wants. You know, if they're going to do this, that's fine. If this is how they're going to do their, I know most people would prefer them to just do the virtual console and just say, hey, if you own the game on the Wii U, it'll cost. There will be a fee to convert it over to the Switch, but we can bring over all your virtual console purchases. There are people that totally want that.
Yeah,
that's fine. If they were to offer that, that's great. I'd be for that as well. But I just want I think if they really want to make it attractive to people, this is just in general, not just the people that had virtual console stuff on previous consoles, maybe even people that have never owned a Nintendo console prior to this, it would be to do more than just NES games. There need to be SNES games, maybe even Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color games on there.
I mean, we had that rumor early on that like GameCube,
well, I mean,
I think that would be like a big get for that.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't put the GameCube games on the service, though. I don't feel like.
Yeah.
I think the most we would maybe get is N64. The only problem is that I see is that, you know, it's a rights issue. A lot of the games, especially in the N64 era, a lot of the more popular games are games they wouldn't be able to re-release. Like, they can't do GoldenEye.
Right.
They can't do, you know, there's all sorts of games they can't do. But it's just due to rights.
Yeah, I think there's enough stuff that they probably, I don't know.
I think there's enough that they could release it and it'd be welcomed.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. Right now, it doesn't feel like a service that's very worth the amount of money, even the minuscule amount of money.
I don't. I will say I would say give up on the remixed versions of the games, because they always have those like, here's the regular version of the game, and here's like a special version of the game that we edited and made this different.
Oh, you got all the powers.
Yeah,
you're at the end of the game with all the powers.
Yeah, maybe stop with that. Just release the full games. You know, put in SNES games, put in Game Boy games, put in Game Boy Color games, put in Game Boy Advance
games. I mean, just the games that they've been releasing have been, I mean, they have like usually one good one and then two that are just like Clue Land. Like, really? All right, fine. Yeah, I don't know. I think they should, I mean, if they want to stick with the NES thing, I think giving me 3 NES games a month plus an Xbox Gold, PS Plus, you know, throw one of those indie games on the fire, right? Throw one of those indie games in there to like spice up the deal a little bit. Like, give me 3 NES games and Ape Out, and I'd be like, great, that's totally worth it. That's totally worth it. But I don't know. Hopefully they'll do something soon, because right now it sucks. Let's see. From there, okay, so this is a really strange story. Apparently, there have been rumors banding around for quite a while now. There's a Switch Mini, in the pipeline for fall, that will be like a Switch but smaller, with the Joycons essentially built into the screen and a smaller screen.
No.
So this week, that might have been confirmed, because somebody on Twitter, like a games journalist on Twitter, basically got a notification that a Chinese company called Sarah Hansen Gaming was making a protector case for the form factor of a much smaller Nintendo Switch that was then put on their website but was unavailable to purchase yet. So like this isn't a protector that would go around a normal Switch, because it's too small. So the idea here is that we would end up with a smaller form factor Switch. I mean, obviously, I think it would have to have docking capability, right?
Yeah.
But that the Joy-Cons can't be removed.
It would just essentially be a Wii U pad.
Yeah, pretty much. But also it plays games. Yeah. I don't know. This one actually seems like it could be legit. Like,
could be.
We're what, a year and a half, almost 2 years into the Switch's life? We're 2 years plus into the Switch's life?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Would you be interested in something like this?
Nope.
No? You want to get those Joy-Cons off of there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Plus, I'm not big on the smaller screen.
Yeah, you want it to be bigger, as big a screen as possible?
Yeah.
It's not exactly like it's a...
No, I like it where it is. Like, I like the size of the screen that it has.
Okay.
So, I'm not a smaller screen and Joy-Cons that are permanently attached to the console. I don't know. That doesn't really entice me as a person. Now, if it was that at a smaller price point, maybe.
Yeah.
And I didn't already have one, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's just rampant assumption in these stories, but
having said that, release one of them in purple, and I'm sure Amanda would love it.
Well, also it's weird too, right? Because like there's so many games on the Switch that are built to be co-op played with one Joy-Con for each person, right? Like, I mean, I tried when we were playing Super Mario Maker. You couldn't play it with two controllers. Like I have a Pro Controller, and I was like, oh, I'll have the Pro Controller. Amanda can have the two Joy-Cons in the little bracket, right? Couldn't do it. Yeah, had to do it. And that was when I learned that I lost those little rails that go on the top and the bottom of my Joy-Cons. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I ask you, the audience, what do you think? Are you interested in buying?
What do you, the viewers at home, think?
A Switch? From Nintendo, let's talk about Sony a little bit. So apparently Sony has been thinking about buying up some new studios, kind of the same way that Xbox.
Gotta buy them up before Xbox does.
Yeah, it's interesting that this is kind of we're starting to get into, like a weird arms race where the console holders are buying up independent studios. God, John, is it just a matter of time until we read a story where Nintendo has bought Devolver Digital? Nintendo of America purchases Devolver Digital.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
In this story, they were talking about basically snapping up much smaller companies, like not looking like the way Microsoft is getting Obsidian and Double Fine and like these kind of big name companies, with PlayStation kind of snapping up smaller companies because they already have in-house studios that are doing larger AAA games, but something to basically kind of crank out more experimental stuff or smaller games or whatnot. As everything just becomes a PC, I can see one of the advantages of starting the advantages with these companies being snapping up, developers to make boutique games. Well, that's kind of been this whole generation, right?
Yeah.
Like the reason you want a PS4 is because you can play Spider-Man and God of War and Death Stranding, right?
Yeah.
The reason you want Xbox One is you can play Master Chief and Gears of War, and that's kind of it. Pirates,
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. There you go. Thank you.
And the Forza games.
And Forza, yeah. I mean, there's some stuff. Dead Rising. Well, but then Dead Rising is also kind of floating onto the PC as well. So it's been weird, but I can definitely see, going forward, having it be a thing where, if one company has 8 exclusives a year, one company has 10 exclusives a year. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We also got the news that if you're one of the people who uses PlayStation View to do your TV watching, the price is going up.
Oh, that sucks.
I wasn't aware of this, John, but apparently, like, the cheapest plan after this $5 price increase will be $50 a month.
Yes.
Apparently, last year it was $5 last year, and then $10 a year before that. So it started at $30, and now it's up to $50.
Yep.
Boy, you couldn't. No, not for me. Apparently, there's also it goes up to as much as an $85 package.
Yeah. No, that sounds about right.
Is berserk.
Yeah, no, it was. I remember looking into it originally, and because originally they were like, "Oh, you can choose what channels you want a la carte, and you just choose the channels you want. And you'll only be charged for those channels."
Right.
And then then the service went live, and that wasn't the case. They had They did have different tiers.
Yeah.
But one was a sports package, which only had the sports channels, and one had, and then one was and then one was the the basic cable package, which had the basic stuff, and then there was one that was here's everything, that was $80 or whatever. But
does it have commercials?
It's live TV.
See,
but it also has a DVR function where you can actually DVR stuff as well.
$50 for commercials.
I mean, Hulu's the same way. Hulu has their on-demand service, which is what they're known for, but they also have a basic TV package, which is about $50 a month.
Nope. Sorry. Yeah, I remember that was back when Hulu. Hulu started. There was no subscription package, and everything had commercials. And then the first year that they had their subscription package, you bought the subscription package, and you had to watch commercials.
Well,
and then finally they got a like Netflix, like just watch the thing, no commercials.
Well, if you remember correctly, the Hulu thing was free. You had to watch commercials, and you could only watch it on the Hulu website. You couldn't stream it to any consoles or anything. Then if you wanted to stream it to tablets or consoles, you had to pay the subscription, which you still had commercials with that, but at least allowed you to stream to other devices that were not your PC. And then they've released the service where you can get no commercials on those devices. And then now they have another tier which you can get, broadcast TV networks, and it's about $50. I looked into it because of wrestling and TV shows and stuff like that, and also I wanted to watch the Raw after WrestleMania, back when WrestleMania happened, so I did their 7-day free trial.
There you go.
So I could watch WrestleMania and SmackDown that week, and then I immediately canceled it because I didn't want to pay $50 a month.
Yeah, I can get a lot of streaming services for $50 a month. You get everything, right? You get Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Yeah, but you don't get live TV with those.
I don't need to watch live TV.
Yeah. Well, it's more of a thing. I feel like people who are fans of sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally the only way. And like I said, for me as a fan of wrestling, for me to be able to watch Raw and SmackDown, and also the upcoming AEW show that's going to be on TNT.
Right.
For me to be able to watch all that, I have to be able to watch it live. There is not going to be a on-demand service that has those.
I can see that. Well, maybe you have a PlayStation and you don't want PlayStation View, but you still would like to do something cool with your PlayStation. Well, if you got a copy of Spider-Man, you could play with the costumes from Spider-Man Far From Home now.
Yeah, I heard that. I updated my Spider-Man game last night.
I did too. By the time this comes out, we should have a video where Amanda, where I specifically fail utterly trying to play that VR game that is ugly and gross and doesn't seem to work at all. Even though I'm sure it has to work, I just didn't know what to do. And then we loaded up these costumes of Spider-Man, and it was just like, oh, hell, remember how fun Spider-Man is?
That game's fucking great.
You just talk about Spider-Man, you could still go, you could just stop some robberies, beat up some thugs.
Yeah, and I love the fact to get the costumes, you don't even have to, outside of downloading the update for the software, you don't have to download any extra DLC.
Yep.
It's just extra stuff.
So you get the regular costume, the kind of updated black and red costume, and then the noir, the stealth suit. Yeah. They don't have any powers. They're just cosmetic. But you know what? Insomniac has been great about this, right? They put out the Raimi costume last Christmas and the DLC. I kind of wish they would do another round of DLC, right?
Yeah.
They got to be working on something new.
The thought is that they might be working on a sequel.
Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
It was such a good game. It was really fun. I mean, even going back to it later, I don't know. It's just so fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
so,
it's a really good game.
If you have Spider-Man, hey, maybe you just want to go do that New Game Plus, right?
Yeah.
Get that trophy for playing through the game a whole second time. It's been, 9 months since it came out, right?
Yeah.
Let's go play the game again. You forgot everything that happened, right? You just go be Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Speaking of things that geeks love, Star Wars Fallen Order.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
We had there was some feedback from E3 that the lightsaber wasn't bright enough, that it didn't have that white kind of core in the middle that most lightsabers in the things have. It was just kind of one big color glowing.
Yeah, one blue.
Yeah. So apparently, following the feedback from that, they've announced that they're going to go ahead and put that big white core in the middle. That's all the story is.
And it's going to be brighter, a little bit brighter.
A little bit brighter. So that's that. Let's see. This one's a bummer, John.
Yeah.
This one's a real bummer. So from there, let's talk about a bummer. There's a company called Red Candle Games, and they're the ones who made that game Detention that was about the white something. I'm sorry. It was a good horror game. We played it on a Sunday stream. We finished it,
if I remember correctly, yeah.
I believe. So they had another game called Devotion that was kind of highly anticipated. And when it came out, there was an asset in it that was comparing the Chinese president Xi Jinping to Winnie the Pooh, which he does not like. And so within a couple of days, the game had been taken down off of Steam. They said they were going to rework it and then put it back up. That was like, what, 6 months ago? 4 or 5 months ago?
A while back.
I mean, like, it was not last week, right? And
it was a while back.
There's been no information at all about it. So apparently the publishers for the game were Indie Event and Winking Entertainment. These are Taiwanese companies, I believe. And apparently China rescinded their business licenses.
Yeah.
Or no, they did it for one of them. They did it for Indie Event. Yeah, China takes this shit real seriously.
Yes, it does.
Like, China is not a cool, fun place to just hang out, especially if you want to compare their president to Winnie the Pooh. I mean, goddamn, the amount of shit that whether you like him or you hate him, everybody seems like they love giving Donald Trump a lot of shit, but nobody gets their game taken down or their business license revoked for, making fun of his hair, right?
Yeah, but I'm sure he would love it if he could do that.
Probably so. This sucks because I want to play this game, and I liked this company's first game, but they are still making that movie. There was we had a trailer, a full-on trailer for a movie version of Detention that is being made that looks absolutely phenomenal. So I really hope that they manage to get that game back out again. And I've been kicking myself for not buying it when I had the chance on Steam. Because it was only out for a day and a half, and I was like, I'll buy it tomorrow. And then I woke up and I was
remember that because I came over the very next or that later that day, and you were just so upset by it.
Yeah. I was like, all I can buy is the soundtrack. Where's the game? I want the game. So that sucks. God, I hate you, China. I mean, not like Chinese people, but,
government.
Good news for you, John.
Good for me.
Let's go from a bad news to a good news.
Good news for me.
I didn't even talk about this when it happened a few weeks ago, but the good news is that apparently Remedy's got the publishing rights back to Alan Wake.
Yeah, which is weird because I thought they had the publishing rights to Alan Wake back already.
Apparently not. Apparently it got delisted, right?
It got delisted for a rights issue because of the music, but then Microsoft actually paid to get the rights back.
Okay.
And it was very much hey, we've paid to get your rights back for you. You can put your
maybe Sam Lake then wrote him a check for the rights to publish.
Well, but it was done as a courtesy kind of thing. It was very much a no. You do this is we like this game, and I think it was it was just they gave them, but I was under the impression they already got the rights back.
But anyway,
apparently it's now theirs now.
Yep. Do you think Alan Wake 2?
I mean, it's possible. I would not. I mean, I would love it if we would get it. I mean, that's a game that a lot of people are asking for. I don't feel like it's probably something on the back burner.
Okay.
It's probably something that's on we're doing this first, and then we're doing controls first, and then we're also doing these other smaller projects, and then we got this other big, because they did say that they are working on another major title that is not Alan Wake 2. They went out of their way because people went, they're like, Remedy is working on a game other than Control that's supposed to be a big AAA
title. Is it Alan Wake 2?
And everyone went,
Alan Wake 2?
Yeah, everyone went, oh my God, they're making Alan Wake 2, and they had to come out and go, no, it's not Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
But we have nothing to announce at this time.
Is that single player part of that weird Chinese
Well, no, that's a second. They actually have another team that's working on that. But yeah, no, it's weird. But you know what? Here's the thing: if they are making Alan Wake 2, that's great. What would be totally crazy since they got the rights to Alan Wake back, completely now.
Mm-hmm.
What if Sony bought Remedy?
Ooh,
and then they re-released an HD version of Alan Wake on the PlayStation 4, and then announced Alan Wake 2
for the PS5.
I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but
I can see it.
But here's the thing: they could totally be like, "Hey, we're re-releasing Alan Wake and Alan Wake American Nightmare as a one giant complete package where you get all
definitive edition.
It's the definitive. You get 2 games for the price of 1, and all the DLC. And we've up-res the graphics, we've improved things. You can play it on both PS4 and Xbox One. I think that'd be cool, but I'm not expecting it. It's still one of my all-time favorite games from the 360 era.
I'm glad I never played it so that I was able to play it with Amanda for the first time.
Yeah, it's honestly one of my favorite games.
Even though she yelled at me about not using my resources the entire game.
Everyone yelled at you about that. Not just her.
I'm old. You got to save it for the boss fight. That game didn't have any boss fights. Well, speaking of games that I'm sure are going to have boss fights, Metal Wolf Chaos.
So I will say I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah?
They should have waited for this announcement until July 4th. Or they should have said, and it's out now.
Oh, yeah?
On July 4th. Because that's the American fucking way to do it.
Right.
But July 3rd, they came out with a trailer that announced the release date for Metal Wolf Chaos XD, and I'm totally fucking psyched.
August 6th.
August 6th.
For those of you who don't know, this is the From Software mech game where you play as the president, blasting your way through a coup d'etat by the vice president.
Yeah, the vice president and the military have overthrown the American government, and they're trying to take over, and the only thing to stop them is the American president himself.
In a giant mech suit.
In a giant mech suit.
Yep. And Devolver's publishing it, and it's From Software game. And holy shit, I wouldn't even believe this was a real thing. I would think this was an April Fool's joke unless I knew that it was a real thing.
So it's like this game came out for the PS2 or PS3? Early
it was an
PS3?
Xbox.
Or was it an Xbox?
OG Xbox?
OG
maybe?
Xbox game? Okay,
Here,
I can believe that.
Let me look it up.
That's probably, now that you're saying it, that sounds about right. It's probably an OG Xbox game, but it never came out here in the States. It was only ever released in Japan, and it was weird because it's in English. Like, it was released in English.
Xbox. Original Xbox.
Yeah, when it came out.
Yeah.
But it was never released here in the States.
Yes.
So this is, Devolver Digital went, well, let's rectify that, and...
Yeah, it was not last year, but the year before is one of their big E3 things.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was interesting because they did because at E3 this year there were during the streams, a lot of the Twitch streams, like they actually did some showings of this game.
Oh, really?
And every time they asked them, like, so when's last time you said it was coming out, summer 2019, we're in June, when's the release date? And they were being very cheeky with like, oh, we don't have anything to announce at this time, but maybe sometime soon. And so everyone legitimately thought that
it'd be July 4th.
It would be July 4th. And so there's a little bit of it. I've seen a little bit of disappointment. Like, a lot of people were like, you should have released it on July 4th, you cowards. But you know what? I'm okay. All I wanted was a release date. I know it's coming out. I know when it's coming out, and I'm going to play the fucking shit out of it when it comes out.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a great game. I've heard it's fun. Like, I've actually, talked to people or I've seen interviews with people or reviews of people who, like, imported it.
Yeah.
And I've heard it's actually like a really fun game, but it's not like the best game ever, but I don't care. I'm going to play shit out of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's, we are 100% going to be playing this on Rage Select. Yeah. I agree that it would have been fun. I think the only thing coming out on July 4th is Stranger Things 3.
Yeah.
This year. But yeah, we do have a release date, and you can bet your sweet bippy I'm going to be playing that From Software mech game starring the president. It looks like Armored Core, except not all stuffy and shit. Like, just guy yelling at the president and the vice president yelling at each other. We also got the news and a trailer. Cuphead, the DLC for Cuphead is going to be delayed until 2020.
Yes.
This is the Delicious Last Course, I believe.
Yeah, this is the final DLC pack. I think there was like a...
There's like some kind of free update,
like,
right?
I think there was it was either...
First one?
I thought it was like a...
Was it paid DLC?
I think it might have been a season pass. I don't know.
Oh, right.
But I think this was the final DLC thing for it. But originally it was supposed to come out at the end of this year, like in winter.
Yeah.
I think the last trailer they did for it said it was coming out in winter, but this one is stating that they're pushing it back. I've seen interviews with them where they said that they're doing it as a way to not they're pushing it back so that they're not overworking their employees,
so not crunching.
i.e. not doing crunch.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm sure everybody would rather have the game sooner, but if, as we have talked about multiple times in the past, if it's a choice between getting a game a little bit later and having people not have to like work themselves to death, I can wait.
Yeah,
I can wait a little bit.
I agree.
I'm cool. Let's see. We got another trailer for Fire Emblem Three Houses that was basically all about the Black Eagles, one of the 3 different factions that you can kind of ally with in the house. They seem like they're the kind of they all wear black. They're from the land with the red with the eagle on it.
So they're all goths.
There's a very short trailer where they talk about the different characters. And kind of a few of the characters and their own personalities. I really can't wait for this game to come out at the end of the month.
I want to play it, but I have other games I need to play first.
Yeah,
but this is definitely on my list of games I want to play before the end of the year.
I am definitely going to be rolling out on this one. Apparently, I mean, obviously, they're going to be putting out one of these little 1.5-minute long trailers for each one of the 3 houses over time. So by the time this comes out,
and truthfully, I think if they do that, then the 3rd video will come out the week before the game comes out.
If they do one a week, yeah. I got that. We also got a trailer for L'Engraisseur 1 and 2, which is one of these being just re-releasing. NIS is doing this. It's a tactical medieval JRPG that apparently was out on a whole bunch of shit back in the old days. And they're putting it together, so if you're not a fan of Fire Emblem,
graphics and
just it looks a lot like more like kind of like Advance Wars.
Yeah, I see that.
Fire Emblem or I don't know, take your pick. What's that one on the Genesis? Shining Force.
Shining Force. Yeah, no, I never played that.
Love me some Shining Force. So yeah, that's going to be coming out. Does it have a release date? Early 2020. You know what? It's between this and all the shit that Square's been re-releasing. Like, if you want to get your SNES era JRPG on, gaming industry's got you covered.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I am super excited for River City Girls.
I didn't know about this until you showed me the trailer, and then I realized it is actually a River City Ransom spinoff.
Yep.
Like, this is like in continuity or whatever. I think that's awesome, and I'm looking forward to this.
Way Forward, the makers of Shantae and Arc System Works, who you obviously know from like Blaze Blue and stuff like that, are making this game. It's a very, very pretty looking like pixel thing. The girls' boyfriends have been kidnapped, and in River City Ransom style, you gotta beat them up your way through a bunch of levels and a bunch of thugs and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It looks really good. I mean, like both Arc System Works and Way Forward are both. They've got very good art, and a lot of these types of games will kind of live or die based on their art. It's not exactly the kind of like super deformed River City Ransom that I feel like we've seen a lot before. It reminds me more of a game called Full Metal Furies that we played a while back, but that means that there's a lot more detail in all the backgrounds and the areas and stuff.
It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks really good. So. And I think that's coming out in September
5th.
Yep. So that's when you can get your River City Girls on. All right, time for some announcements. A few quick fun things, and then we'll be done. Void Bastards is getting some new stuff.
Nice.
So we're getting some free new challenges, and then they're actually trying to add in. I don't know if you know this about Void Bastards, but like the different ships are themed for different companies.
Yes.
They're putting in at least one new company as well with new ships, with new rewards and enemies and stuff like that. I think Void Bastards is great.
Yeah, it's a great game. I
may be a little biased because I got it for free with my Game Pass, but still was good.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
PlayStation 4 EA Access is finally going to be a thing.
Wow. So Sony's finally caving in on that.
Yep, July, and it's going to be July 24th. So July 24th, for anybody who doesn't know, EA Access is EA's like
subscription service.
Sort of, yeah, sort of. You get like demos and earlier, like a lot of ways because it's like what you could buy, like with EA Access, you could buy Mass Effect and then play it like 5 days early, but you still have to buy the game, right?
Yeah,
you didn't get it for free.
So for brand new games, it usually allows you to play the games early if you buy them. But then they also have the Vault, which has a bunch of older titles that you can access through the streaming part of the service or the download.
Yeah, that's $5 a month or $30 a year. I mean, I feel like if you're a fan of, I don't know, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Battlefield, I mean, Jedi Fallen Order, I'll probably get it to play Jedi Fallen Order early just because if that game actually comes out this year, I know that you and I are divided on whether or not it'll actually come out. But yeah, that's going to be coming out at the end of July. So it used to be Xbox only or PC, right?
Yeah.
And now it's going to be on all three. If you're into Professor Layton,
getting a new Layton game.
Layton's Mystery Journey. Well, this is actually an iOS game that came out a little while back. But Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy is going to be on the Nintendo Switch coming in November. Apparently this was originally an iOS game, so the fact that it was made with touchscreen in mind makes a lot of sense for the Nintendo Switch. So I've never really played many of the Layton games, but
I played the first few.
Yeah.
The one that I always really wanted to play was the Professor Layton Phoenix Wright one.
Right.
But I never got to because it was 3DS only.
Yeah.
Or new 3DS only. I can't remember. But for whatever reason, I couldn't play it.
Yeah. Anyway, if you're into Layton, you get you some Layton. Let's see. At Comic-Con, we're going to get some more information about the Avengers. Avengers video game. Apparently, it's going to be on a panel July 18th, hosted by Greg Miller. So, no information. We're just going to get a bunch of Thor jokes, fat Thor jokes, and no real information. I'm never going to forgive that motherfucker for making Jedi Fallen Order sound boring and making a bunch of dumb jokes instead of talking about what makes what that game seems like way better. Anyway, but hey, at least we will probably get a new trailer. Probably maybe some gameplay footage. Maybe a little bit of gameplay footage.
Do we want more gameplay footage?
I would like to see more gameplay footage. I haven't made up my mind yet. I mean, show me more gameplay footage. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Crackdown 3 got a free update.
Oh shit.
And now you can have a wingsuit and a cluster duck bomb and a big hammer that smashes like ice and fire and stuff. And I still kind of like Crackdown 3.
Quack, motherfucker.
I still kind of like Crackdown 3. Like, I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to load Crackdown 3 up and fly around in a wingsuit for 20 minutes and then be like, cool, bye. And then that's one of the ones I keep forgetting when we talk about Game Pass is just like, oh yeah, if I'd had to pay for Crackdown, I might have been mad about it. But I was just like, nope, here's Crackdown, paid $0 for it. Oh, it's fun. And I beat it in 8 hours and bye-bye.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we finally got our first, not finally. We got our second or third real look, maybe for reals look at The Witcher, the Netflix Witcher series. We got some production stills with the lady that's playing Triss and Geralt as Superman as Geralt and Yennefer. Looks pretty good. Pretty good. I think I'd much rather watch The Witcher than play The Witcher, John.
Yeah.
I think after all these years, I think I've come to the decision that I'd much rather watch a show about witching than play The Witcher. But in any case, I mean, looks like they're putting in the money.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, I feel like I've seen a Netflix series. I may not like them all, but they at least seem to have good production value.
I do appreciate that, people complained about that makeup and hair test video that they had released of Henry Cavill, and because of how much of a wig it looked like.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it was clean. It was very clean. Now they have like him dirtied up a bit and it looks more natural. The hair doesn't look as clean as it does, and it kind of looks like his hair.
Yeah.
Now, so, people need to calm their tits.
I mean, this is the internet, John. Everybody's tits are on fire all the time.
They are,
Take
really.
your tits off the stove because they'll get burned. That's all the news we got. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to answer a whole shitload of questions. So stick around, and we'll be back in a minute. it's time for questions. It's question time, John. It's time.
I have answers.
Do you have answers for all the people's questions? That's
Something.
Good. We got a lot of questions this week. We're going to try to get through them all. We don't have that many Discord questions, but we do have quite a few email questions, which is kind of...
Hold on, let me go submit a Discord question.
Mail@rachside.com is the email address to send your questions into, and our first question this week comes in from Ken, not Keith, again, who says, hey, Jeff and John, it's Ken, not Keith.
Yo.
How do you explain to people you are working on a project with that you no longer want to be part of it? You see, I have been on a podcast/stream with a few of my friends, and as the time has gone by, I realize I no longer have any interest in doing it anymore. For me, I seem to have lost all the fun of doing it with them. I feel uncomfortable doing the podcast now because it seems to just be a bunch of homophobic lines and dick jokes. When I tell them how I feel about it, they tell me that I am becoming too PC and I need to have a thicker skin. But the reason why I do not find the kind of stuff to be funny anymore after doing an information type podcast, realize I like to have a legit conversation that doesn't just devolve into gay slurs and dick jokes. And also these things make me uncomfortable because I have a young daughter, and some of the things that they say make me reflect on the kind of stuff where I do not want the quote what the guys talk about unquote. Okay, is stuff I don't want a person to ever say to my daughter, and I no longer find it as acceptable. So am I being too much of a helicopter parent and too much of a wimp that needs to grow thicker skin, or am I just maturing and no longer have a narrow mindset? Maybe a little bit of both. Thanks, and that's from Kid Not Keith.
I feel like I could make a joke, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Because, I feel like it'd be a hurtful joke, and then you would actually think I'm being, like, somewhat serious.
Oh.
Be like, oh, man, if you could figure out how to tell someone you don't want to be involved with their project, let me know, because, I've been on Rage Select for... No, I'm joking. No.
You think I was going to take that seriously? Come on.
Yeah, but
I mean, if we got finished with the podcast, then you're like, no, but seriously, that guy's questions made me think a lot about my life, and I'm not going to be able to write some podcast anymore.
No, but seriously, no. In all seriousness, though, I don't know. You just if it's something you're not like feeling, like if it's just to a point where you're not feeling it, you got to say, hey guys, I mean,
the thing, like I've had to shut off friendships because of exactly what you're talking about. You know what? I'm going to put this out there to the world, John. I've never known anybody that has quote unquote grown a thicker skin, right?
Yeah.
Like I have a pretty thin skin, and people have told me for years, you got to grow a thicker skin. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, I could pretend like when people are mean to me that it doesn't bother me. I mean, I can pretend to have a thicker skin, but it's not like I'm actually like not being hurt. It's not like the taunts don't irritate me. They do. They always have. I think with that kind of situation, you just have to just kind of lay down the law and be like, hey, I got a kid and I don't find this stuff amusing and I don't want to do this. Like,
yeah, I mean, you got to just tell them. I mean, it's if you don't have a heart for it, you don't want to do it, and you've already talked to them, and they've made it very clear that they're not going to change that.
Yep.
You just be like, hey guys, it's cool. If it's people you consider friends and you still want to keep their friendship, that's fine too. Be like, hey man, I'm still glad to be friends and I want to hang out whenever we can, but I think I've lost all desire to continue doing this.
Yeah.
And if I'm not having fun, then it's not going to be entertaining.
It's like breaking up with somebody.
Yeah.
There's no trick. Like you could do the shitty version, like the shitty version of breaking up to somebody where you just go on the podcast and you're bad. Like you just perform poorly until they kick you off. But like just go to them and be like, listen, this may not be a big thing for you, but it's a big thing for me. And I'm not telling you your business.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be part of it anymore.
Yeah.
So you guys keep doing your thing. And we'll hang out, when we see each other, but I don't want to do that. I mean, that's kind of just all that there is to it. Like, it sucks and it's awkward and you may end up bruising or maybe even breaking friendships over it.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's day and age, I got to tell you, just stuff like that, especially if you got people telling you that you're quote unquote too PC, people are more than willing to just axe people out of their lives now because this shit has become so polarizing for people as opposed to just saying, hey, I don't think that's like, I don't find gay jokes to be funny, so
yeah,
you don't make them or whatever.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, I mean, going back to, I mean, regardless of the not finding the types of jokes that they are saying funny or not funny, like removing that from the picture,
right?
If you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying it, if you're coming there, if you're going to these recording sessions and you're just uncomfortable the entire time, or you're bored the entire time, or you have nothing to say or whatever, at that point, that's something where you got to stop and go, well, do I want to keep doing this? And if the answer is no, just be honest with them. Don't spring it on them like mid on air or whatever, but just go to them and be like, hey, this is the situation. I don't want to do this anymore. Now, if you're the guy that's doing all the recording and the editing and putting it online, then yeah, definitely it's still something you should talk to them and be like, hey, maybe if it's a thing where someone else in the group maybe has the ability to continue doing it, be like, hey, it's yours now, have fun with it, but I'm stepping away. And then if it's a big thing where you feel like you need to say something on air after that you've explained it to them and they understand, you can go on and say, hey, this is my last episode, or I'm staying on only for X amount of episodes, and after this one I'm gone because I've got other I've got a kid, I've got other things I want to focus on, or whatever the excuse you want to give. Sure.
But
it's just the biggest thing is to talk to them and just be like, hey, and if they want to get agitated with you at that point, if they want to be like, fuck you for this man or whatever, then maybe rethink the friendship.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the sort of thing where you're going to get aggro, you're going to get static from them for not wanting to do a thing, especially if it's a voluntary thing, well, you're not exactly making a good case to continue doing it, right? Like, you're going to continue doing it under duress and be like, oh, I hate doing this, but I'm just going to keep doing it. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, with back in the day with Geek Bombast, we've had multiple hosts on that, and anytime someone was not having fun, luckily, I mean, it was never a case of like, I don't like what we're talking about, I don't want to be on the podcast. Luckily, it was nothing like that, but it was the case where just person's like, hey, man, I'm a life. Like, I can't do this anymore, and I'm totally of the mind of, if that's the case, man, let me know. And the only reason we ended Geek Bombast when we did, before we tried to relaunch it, was just because it kind of all at the same time, all of us didn't have time for it anymore. Right. And then I tried relaunching, and then some things happened and I stopped doing, and that's been mostly because of me. But it's just one of those things that if you're not having fun, don't force yourself to keep doing it.
If it's a hobby and it's supposed to be a fun thing and it's not fun, then stop.
Yeah.
And if you've tried talking to them and their attitude is what you've described in this email, then you can't make other people. You can express your feelings to other people, and if they're just like, well, I'm not going to change, or I will make no accommodation for your feelings, then best just to extricate yourself from the situation.
Yeah.
Just break up with them. I mean, we could still be friends, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, if it's something where you still want to be friends with them, say it's like, hey, this has nothing to do with our friendship. I just don't want to do the podcast anymore.
Sure.
If it's a thing where they get all pissy with you, then evaluate the friendship, and that's all I can really say.
Yeah,
and that's all Jeff can really say.
That's really all there is to say.
Yeah, we're just repeating ourselves at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. All right, this next one comes in from Fizzgig. Fizzgig says, hello there, Jeff and John. I just finished listening to episode 304 where you and Michael were talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion and would like to throw in my 2 cents on which animes are better dubbed. We were talking about the whole subtitles, subs versus dubs, all that different stuff, because the new dub on the Evangelion is apparently bad and people don't like it. And
well, before we go any further, what had a really good dub that I feel like people don't ever talk about?
What's that?
Gunsmith Cats.
Okay.
The fucking dub on that is excellent.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's one of those ones where it's like,
I don't feel like a lot of people have watched Gunsmith Cats, so that's probably why, but that dub is excellent.
Well, that goes back to when we were talking about it. We were talking about how, like, back in the day, like, you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, if a thing was subtitled, your choices were watch it subtitled or don't watch it.
Yeah.
Like, in any case, let's just finish here. The only one that came to mind was Ghost Stories, a normally middle-of-the-road Japanese high school Ghostbuster story that turns into a dark humor riff track style show once the English dub is turned up. If nothing else, it's worth searching on YouTube for Ghost Stories dub and watching any of the 30-minute best of videos. May the blessed Doncleys merge into your velvety voices and lovingly penetrate all your ear holes for years to come. And that's from FizzGig. I mean, like, I've talked about it at length before. I don't really like dubs, mostly because I like to watch a thing in the language that it was recorded in, right? Like,
I can understand that.
I don't, and the what it comes down to a lot of times is I don't have any problem reading subtitles, so there's not much of a difference to me. It's like, I don't know. Subtitles just flow right into my brain now. Like, I've been reading them for so many years that there's no difference. Like, it's not distracting to me to have subtitles in a video.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll even say, as someone who likes both dubs and subs, I think both are great.
Sure.
And I will watch stuff if it's subbed. Typically I'll watch the dub if it's a good dub. Like Cowboy Bebop or like I said, the Gunsmith Cats or any of the other things that I have that are actually decently dubbed. But
Ninja Scroll was dubbed pretty well, right? Because that was most of the manga American release of Ninja Scroll was dubbed.
But then also typically if I'm wanting something like because I mean, back in the day I used to draw a lot, and I don't draw at all anymore. I haven't drawn.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. But when I would be drawing, or when I would be kind of working on the site or something like that, and be like at my desk working on my laptop or working on my computer, I would have the TV on and I'd have it dubbed so that I didn't have to pay as attention.
Sure, I can see that.
Obviously, that's typically where I would pay attention to that. But I do think that, like, back in the day, because again, Gunsmith Cats, that's one from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
That's the sequel series to Writing Bean, right? Writing Bean was the movie, and then Gunsmith Cats was the spin-off show kind of thing. I think, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember, but I just
I know the two are related.
Yeah. I just know that I bought that on DVD and then like watched the dub, and then like I was like, man, this is really good. And then like everywhere I went and looked up on it, it was like, yeah, everyone's like, yeah, the dub on this is excellent.
Yeah.
And and everything. But yeah, it's a good OVA. I don't know if it's in print anymore.
There's only 3.
Yeah, it was only
episodes?
3 episodes. Yeah, it was an OVA.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's but yeah, I don't know. Like I like I don't hate dubs because as someone who wanted to be a voice actor and knows a lot of voice actors, growing up, I didn't have problems with it because of that.
Okay.
And I even tried to get a job at ADV for a long time. Back when they were around in Houston, before they went bankrupt. But so and like I said, I don't have a problem with it. It's only when the dub is bad.
See, I think that for me, what it comes down to is that back in the 90s, there were a lot of bad dubs out there.
There were.
And so one of I knew this guy a long time ago. I used to work with this guy when I worked at Dell a million years ago, who was kind of like one of my anime Sherpas, right? And I remember talking to him and talking about Project AKO, and how
AKO,
and how I watched Project AKO, and it was dubbed, and it was like, that was okay. And he's like, no, you have to watch the subtitled version. It's like super hilarious, but the dub like cuts out a bunch of the jokes because they considered the jokes were too Japanese, and so Americans wouldn't understand them, and so they rewrote them, and they had this dub, and it was bad. And I watched that, and I was like, oh wow, this is way better. And then from there, I just kept watching subs whenever humanly possible.
And yeah, like I said, I think they both are equally okay, and I watch a lot of subtitled stuff now, because I have a subscription to Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
I watch a lot of that. I mean, I have a subscription to Ferv, which has Crunchyroll and High Dive, But yeah, but also I don't have a problem watching dubbed either. I think dub is perfectly fine to watch.
Did I tell you I finished watching Evangelion last week?
I knew you were watching it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard that you. I think I heard from Amanda that you had finished it.
I finally finished it
because apparently you were talking to her about a bunch of stuff after she said that she hadn't watched it and didn't want to know.
Oh, did she say she didn't want to know? Oh. Well, it was funny because I finally understood what happened at the end of Evangelion.
Yeah.
And it was because every time I started to not understand, I would pause and pull up the EVA wiki and start reading stuff.
Yeah.
And so last week we got a comment. I got put a little bit on blast about spoiling stuff from Evangelion.
Yeah.
In a kind of a rapid fire description of the plot of Evangelion.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that I found out when I went to that wiki and started looking shit up.
Warning, spoilers.
No, I'm not even going to specifics. I didn't know this. They don't tell you what you need to know to understand what happens at the end of Evangelion.
No.
Like, they straight up do not tell you pivotal information about what things are in the series. So, like, I watched all 26 episodes, including the dumb ending. Everybody clap for Shinji. I watched the death recap of Evangelion. Then I watched End of Evangelion, and like, there are motherfucking pivotal pieces of information that were in, like, there was like a Bible, like a book that you could get at a certain place at one time that's been translated. There's like information in the endings of some of the PlayStation 2 games that never got localized into the United States. And there's like snippets from some manga here and there that when you put them all together, oh yeah, it makes sense. But if you don't know all of this horse shit, if all you do is watch the franchise, well, fuck you. You don't know. Like, so then you get to the end of Evangelion and you're just like, what the shit is going on here? I do not understand what's happening. And so yeah, to the person who wrote in last week, I wouldn't have been able to spoil Evangelion because there are all these plot details that the show just doesn't bother to tell you. It just doesn't bother to tell you. I mean, you can like infer what you will about what's happening, but the things that are happening are not like, they're not general, John. They're not like metaphors for puberty. They're specific science fiction things that are happening when X conditions get met, then Y entities do Z. And without knowing what X, Y, or Z is, you're just sitting there like, what? What the fuck? What the fucking fuck is this? And then this is the grand ending because, I was talking... You get all the way out to episode 25, and episode 24 ends on this big cliffhanger about all the robots and stuff. And then episode 25 and 26 are just like this weird metaphysical gobbledygook, like an hour metaphysical gobbledygook. And back in the day, when I was renting the tapes as they came to America, and I watched the 25 and 26 with my best friend at the time, who we were like super into this show, and it was just like, but what happened in the real world? Like, okay, you got your metaphysical bullshit here, but like there were things that were happening with like the robots and the people and the organization and the world and like things, and then it just suddenly it turns into this weird fucking French metaphor about life, and that was all we knew. We didn't know there was going to be an End of Evangelion. We didn't know they were going to remake it. We didn't know any of that stuff. It was just like, that's it? That's all? We're done? Like, it all built up to... Yeah. So anyway, it makes sense if you go read the wiki. So like, there's no, I could sit here and describe to you what happens in every single episode, fucking scene by scene. And when I told you what happened at the end of the movie, you'd be like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. They'd be like, yeah, I know. I've known for 20 years. That didn't make any fucking sense. So that was my experience with Evangelion. And then One Punch Man season 2 kind of let me down too. And so I'm like, boo. When is My Hero Academia coming back? It's like 4 more months until My Hero Academia comes back because Attack on Titan is over and One Punch Man is over.
Well, Attack on Titan's the season ended, but
I don't got anything to watch now. I mean, what do I watch?
Summer anime just started coming out, man.
Goblin Slayer. Ugh.
You can watch all the new animes that just started simulcasting this month.
Like what?
Oh, I don't fucking know. There's like Kotaku has a whole list of them. Just go to they actually just posted the summer animes that are coming out and what services they're streaming on and where you can watch them.
But I'm picky.
Well, they have little descriptions and trailers and shit. You can.
Yeah, I'm picky. Anyway, so Yeah. My answer to your question is Fizzgig is I don't actually know if there's any good dubs because I don't ever watch them.
No, I mean there's definitely some good dubs. I mean, like I said earlier, I think the Cowboy Bebop dub is actually pretty excellent. I do think like I said, the Gunsmith Cats is also an underratedly good dub. I do think other decent dubs that are out there. I'm trying to think. I always thought that the Berserk dubs were pretty good for the original Berserk series. Was pretty good. And then,
boy, I'm sick of that Golden Age arc of Berserk.
Well, they haven't been adapting it. Mind you, the new series is already canceled, but
cool.
But there was no Golden Age in that entire new series. So
cool, good, because it ends with a big motherfucking thing happening, and then I feel like the first 3 times they tried to make that show into an anime, well, it got to that point and then stopped.
So there's one anime, and then there's a trilogy of that same story that anime was,
right?
And then they have a series that's the aftermath of that trilogy.
Okay. But then when I read the manga that came after that, eventually I just got bored.
I just bought the deluxe edition, which has the first 3 volumes in kind of like an oversized format.
Yeah,
man, that thing is beautiful and it's great, and I'm looking forward to buying volume 2 when I get paid next.
Cool.
And then I get to buy each apparent deluxe edition comes with like 3 volumes, so it's going to be forever before I get to the end. Hopefully by then
it'll be
completed? Maybe. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't expect that manga to ever get completed.
Our next question comes in from Mauricio, and he says, "Hey, Jeff and John, Mauricio here.
What up?
Since we're getting everything ready for the fireworks tomorrow, and job searching is taking a lot from me, I'm going to make this fast. 1, since the DC TV network has been canceling shows, aka Swamp Thing, which is awesome, which kind of sucks, with the exception of Firefly, were there any TV shows that you guys were watching that were canceled, and what were they? 2, I've been diehard trying to get better at DMC 5 to get all the S-rank trophies, and it's been a while since I remember being this try hard to get good at a video game. With the exception of Dark Souls, do you guys remember any games from your memory that you played a lot of to get good at or 100% the game? Thanks a lot. Happy 4th of July. And that is from Mauricio. So any TV series you were watching and they were just Dunzo?
Almost Human, Defying Gravity.
Okay.
Let's see what else. I'm sure there's at least a bunch of others. Legend.
Well, I watch a lot of TV series. I always either get bored or they end.
Yeah.
Farscape was my big answer, but then they brought it back.
Yeah, you can ask Amanda. I have a tendency to really love shows that were canceled after 1 season.
Okay.
Middleman, another good one.
Okay.
I actually did a podcast, which was a Middleman retrospective, which I was on a few episodes. The Good Die, Only the Good Die Young, or the Good Die Young podcast. It's over Permanent Record Studios podcast, Grant's thing.
Yeah,
but Grant wasn't on it. It was another guy. It was Les, his thing. I think now they're doing a retrospective on the TV show Happy Town, which is a show I kind of didn't care for.
I do wish that there were more seasons of Terriers. I like
Terriers is another great one.
First season of Terriers.
Yeah,
that was just
first
gone.
season was fucking great. Terriers is another one on that list. But yeah, Almost Human's probably at the top of that list for me because that was so good. Carl Urban, sci-fi, almost like Blade Runner, Minority Report, all mixed together. So good.
Yeah, I remember watching some of it.
I'm trying to think, what are some other like I said, I happen to be one of those people that I tend to fall in love with shows in their first season and then they get canceled.
Mm-hmm. So just the way it goes.
Just the way it goes. So don't let me fall in love with your show. It either get canceled or it stays on well past its welcome.
It's either canceled or it should have been canceled.
Yeah, like it's either one and done or one and canceled, or it's 12 seasons long and probably should have only been 6.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Trying to think. I feel like the original Tick series was on that, but then we got a new Tick series, and though it got to season 2 and then got canceled, I was a little disappointed with.
I'll say both of them. I'll say both Tick series.
Yeah.
I really would have loved to have seen more of the Patrick Warburton Tick series.
I liked both series, though. I think both were great. That second one was excellent.
Yeah.
I was glad we got season 2, but I also felt like it ended in a place that if we didn't get more, I'm perfectly fine.
I think I finally finished season 1, and then I started season 2 a little bit, and then I was like, I think I'm going to wait to be in the mood for season 2.
I get that.
I'm just trying to think. I'm just not really a big TV guy. I like sci-fi TV.
Yeah, a really good one. It was one that my brother turned me on to. Was like I mentioned earlier, Defying Gravity. I don't know what network it was on, but it was basically about like the first manned mission to Mars, I think. But it was like all about it was not them going to Mars. It was about what was going on with the travel, and they were like kind of like these Lost style flashbacks to before they left Earth and stuff. And like there's this whole mystery about something. There's something on the ship that none of the crew has been told about. That is the reason for the mission.
I can remember this.
It's got a lot of good actors in it too.
You know what show I really liked that I feel like I don't know if they got more seasons or not. Was that weird like pre the Orville Yahoo made like a weird comedy Star Trek parody show that had Joel Hodgson on it?
Oh, other space? No.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. It was a Yahoo.com.
Yeah.
It was only one season, and then that's another one. I want to say it's Other Space.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember really liking it.
Yeah, because Joel Hodgson was the janitor of the crew, and Trace LeBeau was the voice of a robot, which is hilarious because Trace is Dr. Forrester and TV's Crow.
Yeah. No, I liked that one quite a bit, and I think I liked to...
Yeah, I think if you just do a search for Other Space.
Other Space. Yeah. That's it. Yep. I kind of like that.
Yeah, just the only thing, the reason that got canceled is because it only was ever aired on Yahoo.
Yeah.
It was never aired on an actual network, and Yahoo gave up quickly on the whole thing. I feel like had that show actually been aired on a network, it would have been much better, or would have done much better and probably gotten a better following.
I was trying to think. I don't think I know that many other TV shows that really come to mind.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure I've got a bunch of them.
Okay.
I've got like a ton of complete series box sets of one and done season shows that what was it like Total Recall 2020.
You should get together with Keith and make a new podcast that's just about TV shows with one season. We call it One and Done. That's it. The second one was any games that you played a lot or got 100% on that you played that you got obsessive about / got 100% on. Well, you did say no Dark Souls, and that was actually directed directly at me.
Yeah.
But like I'm like 2 trophies from being 100% on Hitman.
Yeah.
I platinumed or not platinumed. What is it when you do on Xbox when you get all the achievements? There's like just get all the achievements.
Yeah,
I got all the achievements on Guacamelee, including playing back through the entire game on hard mode and beating the last boss without getting touched one time. Like I really got into the first Guacamelee.
Yeah, no, I definitely. If you were to look at my Xbox profile, there's only like 1 or 2 games that I've ever 100% gotten all the achievements for.
Yeah,
on my Xbox, and I don't think there's any on the PlayStation that I've platinumed. But like on the Xbox, they're kind of like it's the Lost video game. I got 100% on.
Okay.
And like a couple of their like I think 100% of the trophies on like some of the like the Rock Band Blitz.
Okay. Apparently I only have 2 platinum trophies. I just was on my PlayStation. Who the fuck knows where they are? I've got so many games that I have like 3% on because Rage Select, because I played 3% of the game and then just stopped. I I generally don't tend to. Well, Spider-Man, I 100%.
Yeah, I think 100% that one as well.
Especially when the DLC came out, and you could use it to get the rest of the screwball challenges to get the rest of the things.
Yeah, I think I did that with. If I didn't platinum it, I got pretty close to it.
I platinumed Spider-Man, but then I still only have 93% because that was when they added the New Game Plus, and they added in new trophies for like beat the game on New Game Plus.
No, same here. I got kind of really into the Mad Max game for a while.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm going through this list. I don't know,
but I don't know if there's ever like a game that like a game of skill that I spent a lot of time like mastering that skill or whatever.
Yeah,
like I just think there are games that I just spend a lot of time in.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like I don't have platinums in Bloodborne or like a lot of Dark Souls because they have like a lot of the upper tier challenges in those games are just like make one of every weapon, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And like I've always said, I'm not like a super good Souls game player, right? Like I just enjoy the games. I'm not, I feel like when we first made our first like Dark Souls tutorial video or whatever, or maybe even the first time that I played Souls online, and I was talking about how much I really liked it, and there were people in the comments that were just like, "Ugh, I can't believe you use a shield. You're not even very good at this game." And I'm like, "Well, I never claimed to be like, the world's greatest master at the video game. I just like to play it and have fun."
If I'm not mistaken, it said you 100% of the first Hitman.
Maybe that's the other platinum trophy. Anyway, I'm not going through the trophy system on the PlayStation sucks ass. So, yeah, I'm just trying to think of other I'm probably better at Hitman than I am at a lot of other video games as far as just like scooting around places and doing stuff. That's probably the game that I'm the best at the moment. Yeah. It really just kind of depends on whatever the game is that I'm playing at the moment.
I think I platinumed a few VR games. Like I think the Psychonauts one I did, and a few others.
Okay.
But yeah, I as far as like just getting like really super obsessed with, like I think, I don't think there's one that I like really like spend a whole too much time with outside of like maybe like Hand of Fate or whatever. But even those, I don't think they're games that require a lot of skill.
Yeah. Like you think you're the best at Hand of Fate?
No, I'm not. But it's just one of those things that I don't think they require a lot of skill. I just think that it's one of those things that I really love the game, and I really love playing the game, and I like replaying the game.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We got a big old question here from Chris, who says, "Hail, Jeff and John. I thought I'd shoot you 2 questions this week in case you were short one. Anyhow, my first question is about purchasing anything for a subjectively wrong reason and loving it for another reason. I recently bought Bloodstained, and in a short hurry realized that I'm over the hill and have no business playing a twitchy side-scrolling action game. At least it's not my day job. In fact, I was quickly reminded that I have not played a Metroidvania game since, well, Super Metroid, and I sucked at that too. Why did I buy this game then? Was I just being a perverted old man and wanted to look at some bouncy boobs and nice legs kicking some demon ass? What am I saying? Of course, I bought the game because of this. It's the same reason I bought Nier Automata, actually, but now it's my favorite title of all time. Though I suck at Bloodstained, it's still fun, and I'm really digging it and look forward to many hours of dying in it. So have you, at any point, purchased any form of media or product for arguably the wrong reason and then loved it for almost or totally, completely different reasons?" The second question is all about Dune. So it's a big question. I'm going to just pause here for a second. You bought anything for a bad reason and then ended up being like, oh shit, this is the shit. I mean, I buy every game that comes out because I run Rage Select.
Yeah.
So that's that. I'm trying to think if I've ever bought anything for Rage Select and then ended up.
I mean, I'm sure there's movies that I've gone to go see that I went to go see for one reason and then like totally loved for other reasons.
Yeah.
For completely different reasons. But like I'm sure there's like
I mean, there are plenty of games out there that I know that I was not looking forward to and then played them and was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I mean, I have been on record numerous times talking about how Doom I thought looked bad. In fact, I was watching a video on the internet where they were talking about, it was one of those that Reykjavik guy talking about making about E3 demos and like kind of going over the history of E3 demos. And he pointed out that apparently in that year when the Bethesda's first conference, when they did Fallout 4 and they showed the Doom footage, like whoever was playing that game was playing it kind of badly and it made it look like dull.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool, thank you. Because I remember when I saw that footage just being like, meh, whatever. And then I played the game and I was like, oh, fuck, yeah. I mean, for that matter, I bought the season pass for again, not to just say the exact same games over and over again, but when Hitman came out as an episodic game, I was not a fan of episodic games, and I didn't even really like the first episode of Hitman. You and I played it, remember, where it was all the cardboard cutouts and the weird missile base or whatever, and it was just like, oh, well, this sucks. And then Paris came out, and Paris was like, oh, it's just a big fashion show? Okay, I guess. And then Sapienza came out, and it was like, oh, wait a minute. Now, hold on a second, everybody. This is impressive, because it was a whole little town with all the little nooks and crannies and stuff. So, I mean, there have been plenty of games that I've gotten for Rage Select that I have then just been like, you know what? I mean, we talked earlier about Crackdown 3, where I wasn't looking for... They could listen to me talk shit for a year about Crackdown 3 whenever it comes up. And then it came out, and I was just like, let's give this a shot. Hey, this is not so bad. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, I kind of like this game. I know there was a time when I wasn't the biggest fan of the world of Yakuza, and now I'm like I'm way into all those Yakuza games. So, I mean, I've definitely turned it around. I'm just trying to think if I don't ever buy a thing to like, I don't buy like a movie because I'm like, oh man, this is going to suck so hard. And then I watch it.
I've done that.
And I'm like, oh wow, it doesn't suck after all.
I've done that too.
But I don't buy movies.
I bought the, but I also like stuff that's so terrible it's good. Like that's kind of part of my thing. When it comes to movies and TV shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I fucking love like stupid shit like Wolf Cop and
Wolf Cop's pretty stupid. It's also awesome, but it's also pretty stupid.
There's a sequel that's even better.
I waited like 3 years to watch Wolf Cop, so we'll see. We'll see.
I
own
the
happens.
sequel. It's pretty awesome.
I know you do.
And apparently there's going to be a third one, and if there is, I will be there for that as well.
Okay. Well, so then what would you say was a good example of you buying something that looked like it was going to be garbage, and then you got home and watched it, and you were just like, holy shit, this is pretty good.
And I'm trying to think like I ended up actually liking Fist of the North Star, the live action American remake of Fist of the North Star. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's terrible. It's a fucking terrible, terrible movie. But
wait a minute. I think I just thought of one.
Yeah.
Solo.
Oh yeah?
Like I was just like, all right, let's get this out of the way. Here's Solo. I mean, I wasn't really excited for it. And then when I watched it, I was just like, hey, you know what? This is not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I finally got around to watching Shazam, which was surprisingly decent. Okay. It's probably the most like coherent DC movie that's ever been out.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Second question is why was it ever necessary for everyone in the Dune universe to be a complete and total asshat to each other? Hear me out. I'm currently rereading Frank Herbert's series and about halfway through Children of Dune. I mean, at this point, I cannot stand any of these characters, and more importantly, I have zero empathy for any of them. Don't get me wrong, although these books are so well written that it affects my interest positively in continuing the read-through. But let's face it, Lady Jessica, Leto, Gurney Halleck, Duncan, Alia, any of them could go piss up a chome flagpole. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for chuckling with old Still about the billions your traveling Chris Knife salesman killed after you took the throne. Hilarious. I'm starting to think that Herbert got it wrong with the Beware of Charismatic Leaders interview quote, and that what humanity really should do is just avoid the need for the Butlerian Jihad to begin with by not being a bunch of lazy jerks and telling artificial intelligence the proverbial combination of the gun safe in Herbert's Dune universe, it could have just eliminated the need for everyone to become hyper trained, super smart, Luddite assholes to each other every waking moment. But what do I know? And that's from Chris. It's been a while since I read those books.
I only read the first one, and I was bored through most of it because it's very wordy, very dry.
I didn't think that they were all that bad. I didn't think they were quite as bad as laid out there, but it's been a while since I read them. I don't know. I'm currently in the middle of a whole other franchise.
I enjoyed the the movie that is not very accurate to the book.
The David Lynch one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Alan Smithy one. Because David Lynch didn't want his name on the movie.
I guess when they added in all the extended bullshit, because there was like the NBC version where they added like a bunch of crap back into it, and he didn't want his name on that one.
Yeah, no,
he still takes credit for the original.
No, yeah, I know he does. And then I actually, though the production value was not great, I actually really liked the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries as well.
Sure.
Not so much when it comes to Children of Dune, the sci-fi miniseries. That one I didn't like as much. But then again, I also don't have a frame of reference for it. I just thought that it was not good. And then I read the Wikipedia for Dune at one point, reading what happens after I stopped reading. And
oh yeah no, like
I was
Dune,
like, man, I do not want to read any of these books ever.
Heretics and Children of Dune, like, okay, we got a nice little trilogy. Like, Paul comes to Dune, and then we got all the stuff that happens, and then, you end up at the end of the third book with Leto in the worm suit. Then you flash forward like 4,000 years, and everything's fucking weird now. And the universe is run by a giant worm man, and Dune's totally like just like a jungle planet now.
Yeah.
And like everything's weird all the time. And then you get to was it Chapter House?
Like
next?
every character has been cloned like 20 million times.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then
it turns out like Duncan Idaho is the only important character in the entire franchise.
Yeah, I could kind of get into there at a certain point. Like after God Emperor, then it turns into the Bene Gesserit thing with Chapter House, and then the whatever the last one was. It gets it runs right the fuck off the rails.
Yeah.
Right the fuck off the rails later on. I still enjoy it because I like it when sci-fi runs off the rails, because I'm like, yeah, it's sci-fi. Like I was tired of just the guy and his kids in the desert, like, oh no, the taxes on my spice are up, and like, oh, Paul's a wandering desert prophet now. My sister's been possessed by a fat man. Boop-a-doop. And I'm like, no, give me the big worm man. Give me the 3,000-year-old worm man who rules the universe. And then the weird kung fu sex nuns from the later ones. And then you got the guys that are all Muslims, space Muslims, and they come back. And then there's, and then like I think there's like even a setup at the end of those books for like more books, but that was it. So I don't know. I do find the first book to be, it's probably my favorite science fiction book of all time.
Yeah.
I like it. I like all that dry in the head bullshit. The second two, then you get the big worm man. I'm back in, and then from there it's kind of just a straight shot to the end of the series.
Yeah,
it's only like 2 or 3 books. I'm on book like 17 of the current series that I'm reading. So, 6 books. Come on, can't challenge Herbert. No, I won't read any of your son's books. Ghost of Frank Herbert. Yeah, and he also says, P.S. regarding Michael and his mother's pinto beans. I believe you were onto something there. I feel that there's a very likely more than a handful of salt and some mother's love in those beans. Damn, maybe even some cumin for good measure, but who knows? He's got to learn the true recipe and share. My Instant Pot awaits the details. Michael's mom apparently makes pinto beans, and they're the shit, and he wants to learn how to make beans like she does. And I told him, ask her how to make them, and you and I can make them. And he was like, yeah, but she just throws like a handful of whatever this spice is. And I'm like, well, get a list of those spices and we'll start making beans, because beans cost like 12 cents. So we'll just start making pots of beans, and then eventually we'll start to zero in on what makes them good or not.
Yeah.
So, you can try it and then do it. You
Trial and error.
Bacon grease. That's the secret to every good thing that moms of ages yore made, was just a big spoonful of bacon grease. Danger Dave writes in and says, how do you guys... Castlevania Symphony of the Night is free Xbox Gold, right, meow? Although I know it by reputation, I never had a PS once. This will be my first time seeing what all the fuss is about. However, I never played any of the other Castlevania games, past Castlevania 2 on the NES. Do I need to know anything any salient story bits to enjoy this to its fullest? Y'all the best. Ciao, Danger Dave.
Symphony of the Night? No.
You need to know nothing.
You can go in knowing absolutely squat.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice if you know who the Belmonts are.
Yeah.
And like that Dracula is a thing. And that's kind of all you need to know.
Yeah.
Even that. I don't even know you need to know that. I mean, Die Monster, you don't belong in this world, right?
Yeah.
Like, as much as you need. It's about as much as you need.
What is a man but a...
Yeah, he's a miserable pile of secrets.
So it's all spelled out for you right there.
Yeah, just 2 minutes and you get the entire thing. We got a couple of quick Discord questions, but we got a few more minutes here. Joe Jet writes in and says, "Hey, Rage Dongs. So in a recent D&D session, we ended with a total party kill. This got me thinking. When it comes to tabletop role-playing games, often your actions and death are permanent to the story. With that, you can't quote load a previous save unquote to go back and fix your mistakes. Whereas in video games, often your actions and death have little consequence." If your character goes to jail or killed, the game keeps moving. Would you say a video game with that level of risk and permanent action in tabletop games will be possible? How would you see that working and still be an enjoyable game? I know there are games with permadeath and one-hit kill permadeath, but those are often just for the challenge. Thanks, and that's from Jojet. Well, the thing about D&D, right, is if your character gets offed, you can roll a new character.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what a lot of games with permadeath, like the upcoming Watch Dogs Legion, thing does, is if your character dies, or even like, what was it, Zombie U? If your character dies, you just it re-rolls you a new character, and you know.
Void Bastards was like that, right?
Yeah,
As a roguelike. But a lot of roguelikes are like that, where you have a permadeath. I think it would be interesting to make a thing where it would be very difficult, right, to have a game where your protagonist could have a non-death state that would take them out of the game. I guess it would be the same thing, right? Like if it was a roguelike, instead of death, it was just like, your character got taken to rogue jail, right?
Yeah.
I think that you probably would be best looking at what roguelikes do.
Let It Die kind of also had a mechanic, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Zombie U is a really good example, because not only do you don't have anything, but you have to go back and kill your previous character in order to get your shit back from them, right? Because they still have your shit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion definitely ties into there. And just pick any roguelike would probably work pretty well in that same overall frame.
And also, depending on the D&D game, there is totally a way to come back from death, depending on your GM. Because I've actually played games where characters have died and were brought back through one way or another.
I fudged a few rolls in my time because I didn't want my asshole players to get killed in the first 12 seconds of the game because they decided to try to punch a god in the face. So...
Well, so what's funny is I had a game where it got to that, like literally all the characters were transported to hell, and then they basically defeated every major boss that he had presented to them in hell, and they just said, "Let's go to heaven and fuck that shit up there." The equivalent of heaven and fuck shit up there,
right?
And like we're going around killing gods, and so his way of combating that was to have a time paradox occur where certain characters that were killed got to come back. So there was a period where there was one guy playing two different characters, a character that had died earlier in the game, and then a completely different character that was with the party.
It was like the replacement for the first character.
Yeah, but the one that had died had an issue with the party because he died because the party killed him.
Okay.
And then the one that he was playing that was with the party because, like he was playing two different characers.
That sounds very
and then
confusing.
you had one person who had actually left the game who had died in a similar scenario, but he actually like left the game. And he actually came back and played that character again, and like so. I mean, you could GMs. It's all
you can fudge it. I mean, most D&D games that I've been in, most characters you can resurrect them.
Yeah.
You know, some you can't, but most of them can be resurrected.
Yeah.
Like I played a tiefling. You can't resurrect tieflings because they're already half celestial.
Yeah, it was also, that game was weird because we broke the rules of D&D. Like for that, because it was originally done as a game to get people involved that had never played D&D before, and so his comment was to make it fun, so that it wasn't just a basic D&D game. He was like, nothing is off limits. If you have the idea, I will make it work. Yeah, and like my character, because I had said it as a joke, and he went, no, let's do that. I actually created a character in I think Rifts, which is not D&D.
Oh no!
And then we transposed that character into D&D with D&D stats. But like what it was is that
like a time traveler.
Well, no, he was
dimension traveler.
He was a genetically created lichen cat. Like he would turn into like a tiger, like a were-tiger kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And his government was being bombed by another government that was using this weird temporal like armaments that opened up a portal and sent me to the world of D&D.
All right. So
I had a pulse rifle and like fucking vibroid, electric axe kind of thing. I had said it as a joke.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, let's do that. You're doing that. That's your character. Come up with it. Here's rifts. Make a character using rifts, and then we'll figure out how to transpose it into D&D. And I was like, oh, okay. Let's do this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's always good to give your players an out. But yeah, I think all you have to do is look to roguelikes. I think that I think that worked.
Roguelites are pretty much where it's at when it comes to games like that.
Marvel says, here's a quick fire conundrum that came to me on a guard shift. What franchise would you build a Disney style theme park around? What would you have inside? What would you sell? Maybe the delusions of no sleep talking, but man, what are you going to do? Keep the great work. Keep on raging. That's from Marmol.
So there's the Star Wars, one. So I'm assuming he's talking like in the vein of Edge of the Galaxy. What property would you want a
theme park?
Theme park that you could go to.
Come on, guys. It's too easy, man. You
gonna say Dark Souls?
Actually, I was gonna say Bloodborne because it's more fucked up. I don't know. Again, having just been playing Judgment, I think it'd be really cool if there was like a kind of a
Yakuza
Kamurocho.
Yeah, I've been playing Judgment as well. It's a really good game. It is everything I wanted. I think it's actually, I'm enjoying it more than I enjoy Yakuza games.
You know what would be cool? You know what I would like? Maybe not for everybody. A Final Fantasy theme park, right? Because there have been so many games and so many different, you have the characters from the different games. It's Sid's airship coaster. Get on the airship coaster.
I mean, I'd be okay with with some type of Marvel one, like an actual legit Marvel theme park, which I think they're gonna do.
Yeah,
I think that's the next plan after Galaxy's Edge, is a Marvel one. I would totally be down for that.
Mm-hmm. Boy, I just really don't have any interest in that Star Wars.
Oh man, I'm totally on board. I want to go. I want to buy all the things. I want to build a droid. I want to build a lightsaber. I want to go. I am excited.
Yep.
I might be able to go before the end of the year, which is double exciting to me.
I'm not.
But
my heart's full of spiders.
Yeah.
You know what would be really good? Not a specific franchise. I would totally go to Nintendo Land. Because they've got so many different franchises. They've got all these mascots. They've got so many different games that you could make into rides and places to eat.
Oh, man, they could totally sell Captain N jackets and
shit. I don't know. I think Nintendo's disavowed Captain N as a franchise.
How dare you, sir?
But you know what? If there was a guy walking around dressed up like Simon from the Captain N show, I would, but that would be great, right? And the thing is that because Nintendo is so crazy about quality, I feel like the production value would be really high.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could pick I'm getting flashes of that Overwatch level that's like Blizzard World.
Yeah.
I go to a Blizzard World. I don't know if I want to go to one franchise world. I don't want to go to Metal Gear
Oh man,
world.
but yeah, if that Blizzard world were turned into a real thing, that would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
I would totally go to that.
Looks great.
You get a little bit of an Overwatch area, and you get your your
Warcraft, Diablo, Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. I said Gwent. I meant Hearthstone. I don't know why I said Gwent.
Your Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. I'm sure there's people that would probably want to go to like a Lord of the Rings style place.
Sure.
Like go to the Shire and you can have drinks and all the different breakfasts.
Yeah. 18 different breakfasts. Have a bunch of people dressed up like Gandalf walking around doing stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure that would be a lot of fun.
But when I open my theme park, it's going to be John Wick Land. And it's just going to be one place where Keanu Reeves comes through and kills people 3 times a day. And you got to watch out. It might be you. Like, you signed a waiver when you go to John Wick World. You might just get to watch and go, wow. Or you might get stabbed in the eye with a pencil, John Wick style.
Nice.
Pow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, pick any like really good game franchise. Capcom World, right, would be great. With all the different Resident Evil, Spook House, and Mega Man, and Devil May Cry, and just a bunch of guys walking around dressed like Nero. Take a picture with them. Nero, yay! I don't know. I mean, we've made everything into such a spectacle that the answer could be anything, except for like Konami Land, which would suck. It's just pachinko machines.
Pachinko machines, yeah, tons of them.
Health clubs,
yeah,
and PES soccer.
I'm trying to think if there's any like really big like comic franchises that I think would make good, like specific comics, like not like Marvel as a whole, even though I think that'd be great.
Sure.
I'm trying to think if there's anything like specific that I think would actually lend itself to a really cool theme park.
I mean, if you cheat, you say like Avengers World, right? Because then you pulling in stuff.
Again, I think that's what the Marvel theme park's going to end up being.
Yeah, because then you'd have like Tony Stark's Wild Ride, and
I don't think anybody wants to go on Tony Stark's Wild Ride.
Everyone wants to go on Tony Stark's Wild Ride. They need like the teacups, but they got big Captain America shields underneath them, right? And then in the middle, there's just a big Thor hammer that you hold on to instead of a little wheel. And the teacups. The Steve Cups.
Yeah, they could have kind of like at what is it? It's either at Disney or where they have the Sword and the Stone.
Oh yeah,
and only certain people can lift it. They can have the
Thor's hammer. Yeah,
and only the worthy can lift it up a little bit.
Yep. Marvel has so many movies that if you just took the MCU land, the thing about I'm trying to think about the comics, right? And it's like, I mean, you can have like X-Man land,
Would you want like a Star Trek world?
They
like
already they have.
Park? I mean, they had that hotel for a while.
Oh, right. No, I don't want Star Trek land. I'm not. I mean, like, I want to go and want like a theme park, and like Star Trek, I don't think would be like a very good theme park. Oh no, it's 3:00. The Borg are coming. Everybody, look out! It's like, nope.
I'm just trying to think of like what franchises out there that are big enough to do something like that with. I guess you could do a Fast and Furious theme park.
It'd be a really dull theme park considering that entire franchise is in cars. You have to walk around unless they're like, "Welcome to Fast and Furious Land. Get in the car."
Yeah, man. Just try like there's the actual race. There's a go-kart track.
Sure.
There's the roller coasters where it looks like you're in a car.
Yeah.
Or it feels like you're in a car.
What about a Ghostbusters theme park like that one from Planet Coaster from that video that we recorded 10 minutes up before I remembered that I didn't know how to play Planet Coaster anymore?
Yes. I'd be okay with a Ghostbusters theme park. I fucking love Ghostbusters.
You think there's probably enough there, right? Between what, 2 movies, the show,
2 movies, 2 different cartoon series,
right?
A third movie that is third movie. Then also the comics and.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, there's a lot to pull from. So, and then the 4th movie that's going to be coming out in the future.
Let's see. I actually want to ask you this question, John, because I'm curious about the answer. Sujin writes in and says, "Greetings, Jeff and John. This is Sujin writing in from the humidity-ridden wastes of the Commonwealth, or as you may know it, Boston. It's so soupy here, so soupy. But that's not what I'm writing in for. No, I have a non-gaming question to ask you guys. Recently, I was entertaining some old college friends who were in town for PAX East, and I wanted to show them around my hometown. But despite growing up in a seafood mecca like New England, I detest eating anything that has ever come out of the ocean. I could fall back on my Polish roots, but I don't fare too much better there either. Although I can manage to make an excellent galaretka jellied pork. I hear it's delicious. I wouldn't know. I end up taking them to a few hole-in-the-wall places in the North End, and a midnight showing of Rocky Horror, and the next day taking them down to Cape Cod for the day. And yes, I sucked them up and a giant seafood dinner. The horror, you'd think it's the beady, terrible eyes. No, it's not the eyes. It's the texture. I just can't. So my questions are, have you guys ever had to sell other people on, anything that you personally couldn't get into? And do you have any weird food habits yourself? Thanks, and that's from...
Well, when it comes to food habits, I'm an extremely picky eater.
Yeah?
And a lot of it is a texture thing for me.
Okay.
So I totally get, I can't do seafood either.
Really?
I don't do seafood.
The flaky, fishy?
Yeah, no, it's totally a texture thing.
It's
also a smell thing, but it's...
Shrimps?
No.
No? Fried shrimp?
No.
Lobster?
No, no seafood at all. I don't do seafood.
Eel?
I don't do seafood.
Sushi?
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't even do... I don't do sushi or anything.
No sushi?
No.
Okay. What about like oyster sauce? Beef with broccoli has like oyster sauce. That's that brown sauce you get like Chinese restaurants.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, it's so good. So oysterific. What else? What else you got? I'm an omnivore. I eat everything. I even started eating cilantro, and I hated cilantro for 20 years. So
I don't like cilantro because it tastes like soap.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that has that gene where cilantro tastes like soap, and I can't stand it.
See, it doesn't taste like soap to me, but I just don't like the way it tastes. But I just started making this recipe that's basically a knockoff of the Chipotle rice that has the
lime
cilantro
rice.
in it. Yeah,
cilantro lime rice.
Yeah, and I just started putting the cilantro in it. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, if it's diced up thinly enough, and I'm okay. But if 9 times out of 10 cilantro, they're chunks of cilantro, and it tastes like soap, and I can't sometimes when I go to Torchy's, and we get their queso, I have to tell them no cilantro garnish.
Yeah,
because if they put it on there, the cilantro overpowers the taste of the cheese.
Okay.
And because it already has cilantro in it.
The cheese has cilantro in it?
And then they put cilantro on top of it.
Just raw cilantro?
Yeah. And it's just like when if it's being overpowered or accented with cilantro, I can usually deal with it.
Okay.
But if it's overpowering the taste of what it's supposed to be, I can't do it. I cannot do it at all. I can't stand cilantro because it tastes like soap, and who the fuck wants soap tasting in their mouth?
Yeah, it depends on what you put it with. Ginger kind of tastes like soap a little bit, but I like that. Mouth soap.
No, I'm a very, like I said, I'm a very picky eater.
What are some things that would shock you, that would shock me to know that you won't eat? Shock me, John. Shock me.
I don't know.
Shock me with your food habits.
I mean, I'm allergic to carrots.
What?
I love carrots though. That's the weird thing. I love raw carrots.
Aww.
I don't like cooked carrots. Again, it's a texture thing because they taste kind of mushy and rubbery.
Yeah.
But I love raw carrots. But I'm actually it won't kill me to eat them.
Right.
But it's not good for me to eat them.
Okay.
I've actually been told I shouldn't. It's if you eat some, that's fine. If you eat a carrot, you're fine. But don't sit there and munch on carrots. Also, it makes my mouth itchy.
Oh, itchy mouth.
Just crazy, which is an allergic reaction.
Ssure.
Part of it.
It's your body saying, "Hey, quit it, motherfucker."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. It was funny because someone made something at work, and they asked us, is anybody here? We had a potluck at work, one of my jobs, and they asked, does anyone have any allergies?
Mm-hmm.
And not thinking about it because I usually don't think about, I'm allergic to carrots.
Right.
So I didn't say anything. And then, like, he made this dish, and everyone's trying it, and everyone's like, oh, man, it's really good. What's it made out of? It's like, well, it's clearly this and this, but what's the other? He's like, oh, that's the secret ingredient. I won't tell you. And then I basically ate it. I was like, it's got carrots in it. He's like, what? How the fuck do you know? I was like, my mouth itches like a motherfucker right now. He's like, what? And I was like, I'm allergic to carrots. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? I would have told you not to eat it. And I was like, I didn't think it was important. It's not going to kill me. Don't worry. You know, it's not anything I need to be taking like medication for. It's a thing that happens.
Man, I gotta tell you, like, I don't like pickles on sandwiches or like hamburgers.
I don't like cooked pickles.
I don't like any pickles on my sandwiches or hamburgers, but I like pickles.
Yeah,
like
I love pickles. I'll love pickles on a cold sandwich. So cold cut meats and but I cannot do cooked pickles on a hot thing like a hamburger. Nope. Can't do it.
But that's only a preference. And like if they put pickles on my hamburger, I just open it up and take the pickles off, and I don't. Eat them. I eat them separately from the hamburger.
Yeah.
And then I continue on my hamburger. But other than that, I'm not a picky eater. It wasn't allowed when I was a child. It was like, no, eat the lima beans. I don't give a fuck if you like them or not.
Yeah. And I want to be very clear. Like when I say I'm a picky eater, it's not a case of like, oh, I've never eaten that before, and I'm never going to eat it because I'm a picky eater.
Right.
It's no. I will try anything once.
Yeah.
If I don't like it, I will never eat it again.
No, you don't give it a chance. You don't check it up. I check all the time because there's plenty of stuff where it's like I hated it when I was younger and now it's my favorite. Like when I was a kid, Brussels sprouts were just like they're the worst.
I do like raw cabbage. I hate it cooked. That's another thing I don't like cooked. I find that a lot of vegetables.
Yeah. I
like cold and raw. I don't like
crunchy.
Yeah, I don't like it when it's cooked because it's mushy and.
You should try out my roasted cabbage, where it's like you just cut a big triangle of it and then you just roast it all in a big triangle, so it doesn't get mushy. Like it's just cooked, but it's all crispy on the outside, caramelized.
But yeah, no, I'm. Yeah, I don't like. I typically prefer my burgers to just be meat, cheese only.
Yep.
Sandwiches kind of the same, except I'll add pickles and salt and pepper and maybe some spices or whatever. But yeah, I'm a very picky eater and I acknowledge it. So I don't like pineapples. I do not like pineapples at all. No.
Even all those
that actually really upset someone who made like a pineapple upside down cake kind of thing, and then like I didn't eat any of it, and they got really offended. And like one of those things, like
I might know who you're talking about.
And I was like, I legitimately don't like pineapple. Why?
You haven't had my pineapple upside down cake.
Yeah, that was the exact response. Well, you haven't had mine, and I'm like,
Does it taste like pineapppples?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I was like, it's not an insult to you. It's just I don't like it.
No pineapples. I remember when I found out that Jason was allergic to avocados. I was just like, you poor son of a bitch. Anyway, the other question here was, have you ever had to sell people on something that you personally couldn't get into? I generally don't try to make people do a thing that I don't. I mean, like, I got this whole podcast so I can yell my opinion to the internet once a week, right? Like, if I don't like a thing, then I'm not going to tell anybody to try to do that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of like, oh, well, maybe like, because I've had jobs where I worked at companies, and I was like, but no, even then, like for example, when I worked at Dell, I enjoyed the products that I supported.
Yeah,
like even if it was a case of like, oh, I would prefer to make my own computer than to buy one from Dell.
Sure,
I still didn't hate the product that. That we were selling, and also I wasn't in sales, so I didn't have to sell anything. When I worked at Blizzard, I'm not a huge fan of MMOs, but I didn't hate World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's it's also so it's kind of one of those things where I'd never really worked for a company that I was trying to sell something I didn't like. Well, like for those types of companies, I like even my current job, we do sell something, and it's a product, service, or whatever that I actually used before I got a job there, and I actually applied to there because I liked the product.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those things that I've never really sold something that I didn't at least enjoy on some level.
I'm bad at that. I can't. Like I'll say. I mean, I feel like there have been times with video games where somebody like Chris will say, hey, what do you think about Devil May Cry 5? And I'm like, well, it's blah, 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 blah. It's blah, 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 blah. And here are the good things. Here are the bad things. And then, it was for me or it wasn't for me. But like, I don't know. I mean, you're all adults. Go to make your own decision. Like, if you ask me a question about a thing, I will tell you the latest season of Black Mirror isn't very good, but it's on Netflix. It's 3 episodes.
Even
just
kind
try
of
it
going
out.
along the lines of what he's saying, like, even if it's a case where it's a restaurant or something that maybe doesn't serve something I like, I typically will only recommend, like, I'll be very upfront. I'll be like, hey, I don't care for the food here, or I've never eaten at this place, but I have X friends that have actually given all really good like reviews to me.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a place I would eat, but I think you would have a really good time eating there. Like, I'm just upfront with it. Like, like that's the most I will go as far as like selling something I don't like. If that makes sense. Like I like, if it's something I don't like, for example, we'll even, if it's something that is good and I understand the reason I don't like it is something that's specific to me, I'm not gonna like, I'll be like, oh no, it's, this is why I don't like it, but this is why other people do like it, and those are very valid opinions, and I totally see where they're coming from.
Yep. And with that, we're going to be done. MailRageSite.com's email address. Make sure to send in the questions, and we will answer the questions. And with that, I hate to say it, John, but I gotta go buy like some salmon or some shrimp or something. Like all this talk of seafood. I want seafood. I want seafood now. God damn it.